Hey everyone, brand new podcast, and it is with my friend Fortune Feimster, who is on tour just like I am. I am on the Birdie Boy Relapse Tour until May. Go to Bert.com. These do make great Christmas gifts, and I'm trying to come up with a way to.
What makes great Christmas gifts? Oh, I thought you were talking about the toenails.
A podiatrist
That's so gross.
sent me a jar full of toenails today. I used to think I could do that job for a living.
No.
Now I realize I can't.
I can't unsee it.
I know. I want to throw up.
I thought you were. Did you see my face?
Yeah. Toenails make a great Christmas gift.
I was like, what are you talking about?
No, tickets to a comedy show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to come up with a thing where it is on my website and you want to print it out. Why are you still laughing about the fucking toenails?
I really thought that you meant a jar of toenails would make a great
A jar of toenails would make a great Christmas gift. And if you'd like, I have a jar I can send to you. It'll be $100 plus shipping and I should give those to someone for Christmas.
You should. You should give them to Tom.
I can't think about them. Can we please change the subject?
I can't either. That's why I thought it was crazy that you were saying a jar of toenails would be a good
Stop
gift.
talking about the fucking toenails.
But they're not regular toenails.
Baby, stop. I don't want to talk about them. I'm going to throw up. I almost threw up for real outside.
They're like rhino horn toenails. They're like, look like they're made out of hair.
Stop it. I'm going to throw up.
It's like compressed pubic and beard hair.
Baby, what are you doing?
It's so bad. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Maybe someone could buy a ticket to your show and wrap the toenails with the ticket.
Tickets to either my tour or Fortune's tour.
Should you show them the toenails?
Go get the toenails and put them in toenails. Go get the toenails. Okay. But put it close to the camera. Don't put them on by me. Put them close to the camera so people can see them.
Focus.
Oh, I'm making me sick.
Give it a shake.
Oh my God, I'm going to throw up.
I don't like that sound.
Thank
It's
you.
in a urine specimen cup. So odd. Very creative, though.
Understand.
It's a very creative use of supplies. Do you want to pour your liquid death
Baby, stop it.
into
Baby,
the
stop
toenails?
it. Let's just introduce podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, she's got a special on Netflix called Sweet and Salty. She is on tour right now. Get tickets at fortunefeimster.com, correct? She has added a bunch of tour dates and she has added second shows everywhere. So if you try to get tickets earlier, they've added a show so you can get tickets. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend. Oh, and LeeAnn's on this podcast
Oh,
with me.
thanks. Appreciate it.
Check out her podcast, Wife of the Party, at wifeotp.com.
Mm-hmm.
Wifeotp?
Yeah, wifeotp.com.
And I throw up in my mouth throughout this podcast, so I hope that doesn't distract you. Anything else, Austin?
These things make great Christmas gifts. I thought you were talking about that for real.
Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, LeeAnn Kreischer and Fortune Feimster. Come on in. Let's do it.
All right.
Your wife is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Where am I?
Right there.
She looks like a lovely person.
You said lovely? Are you recording? I thought you said ugly. I thought you said she looks ugly, and I went, where are you going, LeeAnn?
I'm getting a water.
There's one for you right there.
Liquid death. LeeAnn, there's one right here.
Did you just come back from New York?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where were you at? The Beacon?
I did Town Hall. I did 2 shows there.
Nice.
Yeah, we were there. I think the same week. Yeah, the same.
Yeah.
Is this where it's supposed to be? Like this?
Nick Kroll had it like right here, and it actually still sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
And you could see his face.
Yeah, I was going hard, so my voice is just like, what are you doing?
It's all raspy, sexy.
It's raspy right now.
My voice is a mess, and I don't get an opportunity to get it back.
I know, that's the thing. It's like there's no stopping. But I wanted your listeners to hear my sexy voice. So
They deserve that.
they do.
They do.
I need to keep it sexy for you guys.
Have you been following this? Because I know they're your friends. Have you been following this Jo Koy, Chelsea Handler romance?
I sure have. I just saw them.
Just fucking. They're like, I just
saw
saw
them
them
in
wearing
New York.
matching outfits today.
They are in it to win it.
I mean,
I think they're kind of adorable.
They're pretty
myself.
adorable.
I think they're kind of adorable.
Well,
They work somehow.
I had drinks with them in New York, and because people were like, "Is it real? Is it real?"
well, that's the word on the street is that it was a work.
Right, but just because they do,
Well, just because, just to be for every comedian that's texting me asking if it's real, because Chelsea is a globally different person. She seems like a light of sunshine.
Mhm.
She seems so happy.
She's so happy,
and that
they're both very happy.
That's awesome.
and her Instagrams normally were very like, listen, stupid people,
Right?
You know, now it's like, love her, come here.
Oh, but she is on cloud 9, but he is too. Like, just being around the two of them, there is a lot of like, all of us felt this joy that was just beaming off both of them. Well, you couldn't help but be like, we were all smiling and laughing, and it was like a love fest because they're both just like in this space right now.
It's got to be great to be like brand new in love.
Yeah.
But like they knew each other for so long.
A long time, and people laugh because, she used to notoriously just drill him, like would be really like hard on him, yelling at him, picking on him, calling him names. So when they announced that they were together, people were like, no.
Right? No
What?
way.
You were so mean to him. So yeah, he's just what I love about him is that he's so successful. He's selling out.
We could do an entire podcast about what I love about Jo Koy.
Yeah, I mean, he's selling out all over the world. A great guy, but he is not intimidated by the fact that she's such a strong woman, and because a lot of men are. A lot of men have been very. She's a strong woman. She has strong opinions. She does not hold back.
Yeah,
she's tough on men, and he is very much like, do your thing, be you. But he's also bringing out the joy and positive in her.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. It's been fun. It's, it reminds you it's fun to see people happy.
Yeah.
Like, because so much of social media is negativity.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like drowning in that.
It is.
That's why,
And why? Why? Who wants to go in there and go, is it people who find things that are worse than they feel and that makes them feel better?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of people not feeling great going on there and letting it out. They're just like, oh, I can just like I can channel my frustration into this keyboard and forgetting that, people read it, or sometimes not caring.
Oh, I think a lot of them are children. I think a lot of them are children. Like, I think a lot of the negativity you get are from like legit children, like Carter,
like high school,
high school kids, 12-year-olds. I think they just are online and they see a celebrity and they're like, your shoes suck, and then
God, can you imagine?
But it's really throwing rocks into a canyon for them.
Right,
they don't hear it hit, and
right.
and so like I've seen some, like one guy I've never read comments. I never read comments.
Yeah,
sometimes I will, however. If I post a video that I think is good, I'll like go, what's the energy on this?
Yeah.
And usually it's positive. And then every now and then, and I'm talking about Instagram. I've never read a YouTube comment in my life.
Oh, those are gnarly.
I've never read a YouTube comment in my fucking life.
Especially if you're a woman, never read the YouTube comments.
They can be dicey for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I read one time. And it was like, you could tell a child wrote it because of the way it was written. He goes, I bet Bert has skin tags. Like, it was just like something where I was like, and then I was like, God damn, I just got a new skin tag.
You're like, how do you know?
And I was like,
how do you know?
And in my head, I was like,
he's peeking in my bathroom window.
Yeah, I was like, motherfucker. But it's, do you know who Lindy West is? I got to get Lindy West on the podcast.
Yeah.
Lindy West.
I don't know her. I don't think I know her personally.
She did, she confronted her troll. There was a guy that had an account called Lindy West's Dead Father.
Oh.
And he would just tweet.
That's aggressive.
He would tweet about his disapproval of her.
That's
as
terrible.
her dead father.
That's terrible.
Yes,
pretty terrible.
How mean?
Oh my gosh.
It has a good ending.
Okay.
She confronted him.
Okay.
And he came clean. And he said, I was jealous at how happy you were living your life.
Wow.
And how you would seem to accept yourself, and I couldn't accept myself.
Wow.
So a lot of times, look, I'll be honest, and I'm sure you have too. You'll see someone, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it, but like you'll see someone, you'll hear a rumor about someone and it'll be a bad rumor.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, you share it to another person. And then you're like, what am I doing?
Right.
Am I helping?
I don't ever do that.
You don't spread the rumors?
I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't send bad stuff like that.
You're not like, hey girl, check out this hot goss.
Yeah, no. I send good stuff. I always forward good stuff. But bad stuff, I just go delete.
No, but you have a thing where you're like, in a weird way, I remember saying like it made me crazy. Like you would sometimes LeeAnn would go, like, I don't even want to know if someone's got cancer.
Yeah.
Like I don't even want to know that. And LeeAnn, someone is like, oh my God, did you hear what happened to ... And you're like, oh, you did it yesterday about someone.
Yes, a friend of ours lost her brother to COVID a month ago, and then her other brother was just found dead at his house.
What?
Like last week. And,
oh my gosh!
And she fell and broke her hip and has to have hip surgery. She's not that old. And I was like, how much can one person handle?
And in a weird way,
she is a friend.
I go like this.
I send her flowers, and so of course I talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
That's a Southern lady thing, though.
Yeah.
My mom calls me just to tell me about all the people who've died.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was doing stand-up jokes about it a long time ago. Her just being like, do you remember Ashley Davidson? I'm like, no. And then she'd get me to try to remember that person, and I'd remember, and then she'd go, well, she's dead. I'm just like, why did I have to know that? I didn't need to know that.
I didn't even remember her.
But I think that is, I don't know if it's a woman thing or a Southern woman thing, but they like for you to know about all the ailments or the dead people around town.
How different is your life when I talk about business wise? Because you are a fairly large business right now with your touring, with Netflix, it seems like you're on something brand new. Brand new every day. It seems like you've got something new. Movies.
I bob around a lot.
But how different is that from when you grew up where you thought you'd be as a Southern woman? Where like because you are one of the biggest comics in the industry, but more importantly, business wise, you are doing all of it.
Yeah.
You and Tom have the radio show, you have movies, your tour. You have everything going on, and when you said that about your mom, I thought,
how different your life is.
How different is your life, and how does that ever register with you?
For sure. I grew up in a town of 8,000 people. If you think about the odds of coming from 8,000 people in the middle of the South to ending up in LA, just ending up in LA is almost impossible.
Yeah.
People don't leave, a lot of times. The hometown, North Carolina. So to even go beyond that parameter is a huge jump. But it took a lot of things when I look back in hindsight to get me here. A lot of things had to line up in a way that, I don't know, part of it was hard work, part of it was having drive, and then part of it was life just sort of like leading you on a path. I know this sounds so kooky, but I've always just felt like there's some path laid out for me, and I keep doing the hard work and following the path. But I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if I'm in control of the path, if that makes sense.
Makes sense to me. Yeah. It's called faith.
Yeah. And so I'm just kind of always been following this path that keeps leading me to these different places. But, I work really hard, and it is bonkers when you think about where you came from. And a lot of my special that I did on Netflix, Sweet and Salty, I filmed it in in Charlotte, 20 minutes from my hometown, because it was this big full circle of like, here are all the stories about me trying to figure out who the heck I am. Here's me getting it wrong a lot. But not that I'm like now a full complete person, but like, look at this full circle. It was a celebration of finally figuring out some of these big puzzle pieces and getting to the point that I am. It's a trip for sure.
What's it like when you go home? And I say that because I was just in Tallahassee and I was just in Tampa.
Yeah.
And there is, I get a sense sometimes, Tallahassee, not so much. Tallahassee, I came back it made me feel the probably best feeling I've ever had in my career.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
just because all the love?
Well, I left Tallahassee in 1997, and they didn't want me. Like they,
What? How so? Like
the
what?
president at the time, Sandy something,
Uh-huh.
had actually had a. What's interesting is his daughter was in Playboy. His daughter was in Playboy, and by the way, his daughter's beautiful. I just saw her.
Those Florida women, man. Those
Instagram.
Florida women.
She's like-
Hey, there's a reason that Hooters was started there.
Exactly.
I think she's married to like the
They're
mayor
not
of.
Southern.
I think she's
They're
married to the
Florida.
mayor of West Palm or something. She is
Okay.
gorgeous still.
Yeah.
She's like 54 and a smoke show.
Smoke show.
And so, but his daughter was in Playboy, and I guess it must have triggered something with him, Sandy. I don't forget his last name, but he informed the administration to basically, it came down from the top, from what I understand, and everything's obviously hearsay, but they failed me out of 2 of my classes and wouldn't give me the opportunity to make those classes up. And I was graduating and I was moving to New York. And literally I had a meeting in a room with a teacher who I was like, how can I make this credit up?
Yeah.
And he told me I could go fuck myself.
Like those were
Their
words.
exact words in a closet, a broom closet in an office. You can go fuck yourself. And I remember being dumbfounded. It's one of those moments of unfairness in life where you just go like, so this is how life works. Sometimes you get pulled over and shot. Sometimes.
But what had you done? Just
I was
because
the number one party animal in the country.
I mean, I knew that was, but I didn't. They didn't like.
It was a very big article.
So
and
they didn't
did
like
not
that.
Like it.
Oh, okay.
They thought it sullied the reputation of their school.
Oh, I see.
Of their learning institution.
Yeah.
And so when I left,
That's pretty harsh words, though,
right?
for a guy that just wants to party.
Yeah, that guy had read my article about me.
Yeah.
In my class, in front of me, mocking me to the class.
Wow.
I wish I could find this teacher's name.
He was
I guess I
classy.
don't wish I could find the teacher's name.
Yeah.
Because I have let go of all of that.
Right.
And it took a while for me to let go and welcome Florida State back into my life.
Yeah.
And start to enjoy. I remember, and honestly, it didn't start until I met Segura, because Segura is such a FSU fan.
Yeah.
And
My cousin went to FSU.
yeah. And so when I went back to Florida State, they had signs up everywhere that said "Welcome home, Birdie Boy," and then not everyone knows this, but I love being called Birdie Boy. It's my sisters. My sisters have always called me Birdie Boy.
Yeah.
And randomly, people are now calling me that, and it makes me feel like they did it in Serbia. They would be
Well,
like,
it may not be random. Your tour was called the Birdie Boy.
That is true.
Yeah.
It is on
It's on the
posters.
wall right there.
But
But I don't know why people are calling me Birdie Boy all of a sudden.
but it's so weird because I didn't. That wasn't my intention.
Yeah.
So
you ended up not graduating?
I know I ended up not graduating, moved to New York, having to take correspondence classes through the Florida State prison system, or through the Florida State wide system, which isn't the same as the prison system.
The state of Florida.
State of Florida.
Gotcha.
And I got my degree in New York.
You and a bunch of prisoners?
No, just a box of books.
Yeah.
And then you're like, take the test.
Oh, okay.
And so I going back to Florida State was my full circleness.
That was the first time you'd been back?
First time I've been back since 1997.
Dang. So that was a big full circle.
That was a big full circle. But what I was wondering with you is, because when I go to Tampa, there are people who, I don't want anyone to hear this and think it's them, but there are people who like to kind of put me in my place.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know whether it's not they think.
Back in Florida?
In Tampa, specifically.
Tampa.
And it's guys I went to college with. It's some guys who say shit like, I don't know. It's a very weird energy but I don't know if it's a bro thing.
Right.
I don't know if they do the math and they go, how much money did he make tonight?
Right.
And then that bothers them. I don't know what that is. But there is like a don't forget where you came from kind of vibe sometimes that I'll get from people. Like, don't think you're better than us just because we paid to come see you.
You're not really a big deal like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that a little bit. And by the way, I have to be clear. No one at this meet and greet in Tampa did that, okay? No one at this meet and greet in Tampa did that.
Don't think that it's you.
That should be a name of a podcast. Don't think that it's you. 'Cause
Don't
anytime you
think
say
that it's
anything
you.
about anyone, there's a fucking asshole on the other end of this going, he's talking about me.
You probably
The
think
narcissism
the song
involved.
is about you.
Yeah. But do you get that? Do you get don't forget, like do you get that?
I mean, yeah, I think everybody, to a certain extent gets a little bit of that, depending on, not from everybody. I get a lot of love. A lot of people are very proud and very, I know you get that too, or they go, oh, you made it. This is so cool. You're from our place. they claim you as their own. But yeah, occasionally there are people who, will make some sort of backhanded comment or remind you of some failure you had at some point where you're like, okay, but I do think that also stems back to an unfulfillment in somebody else's life of just like, if I maybe started out with somebody and their path has not gone in the same way, that there's a little, sly remark to just sort of, they want you to come back to where they are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's just human nature of people having there are people that have dreams and some have fulfilled those and a lot of people haven't. So when you see somebody that has had a dream, went after it, succeeded, that's hard for some people because it reminds them that they did not fulfill that dream.
Do you think your mom can quantify your journey? And I say that because I know that maybe LeeAnn's dad, who I think is probably very similar to your mom.
Yeah.
I came from a town of 1,600 people.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah.
I can relate to the 8,000, everybody. But I know a lot of times, like when we bought this house, I didn't tell my dad for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like, he's going to think, what are you doing?
Oh, interesting.
What are you doing? You're highfalutin now, And I was like, I waited till the last minute where he was coming to visit. And I was like,
you're like, he's going to see.
I just got to tell him. I mean, because he's just, he thinks about those things differently.
I know. Sometimes you have to dim your light for people. That stinks,
It's that it does stink that you have to dim your light.
Yeah, you got to dim your light because you want to make other people feel better. I mean, luckily, like with my mom, she's very proud and she likes it if I have success because she is like, am I going to get something cool out of this? But she comes on my podcast quite a bit and people have started to know her through that. So she likes the residual attention from it. So she's all like, yeah, do your thing. And also take me along with the ride,
That's so cute.
Yeah. So she's not like, she's not in any way poo-pooing this, for lack of a better word.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, my family in general are pretty supportive, and but I have two older brothers. They're very much the kinds that are like, they're proud, but they're not going to tell you. Like hit you on the arm or something, and that's that.
Yeah.
So
was there any part of you, and I'm saying this because LeeAnn's in the room.
Yeah.
But was there any part of you that was embarrassed to show your where you grew up to your wife when you first met her? Because LeeAnn had that with me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're from, I mean, it's a small town. Not the town.
We were living
staying
in a convenience store.
Mm-hmm.
My dad at the time.
What do you mean staying in a convenience store?
Well,
that's where
So my dad and his brother at the time owned a convenience store, and my dad lived in the back of it.
Oh, I
like
see.
in one room. It was kind of a studio apartment. And I was like, if we go stay with my dad, you're staying in a convenience store. I mean,
Bert was like, hell yeah.
And he was like, this
he's
is
like,
the best
do I
thing
get
ever.
slushies?
It had no windows.
Yeah.
It was behind the beer cooler, so you walked out and then you walked right into the beer cooler.
Say cooler. That beer coolers. Those beer coolers.
So I was worried. I mean, we were just dating, and I was like, I know his dad's a lawyer. I know, he's country club, grew up in okay, we're going to go stay in the convenience store.
Yeah.
Like he slept on the couch, I slept on the floor, and my dad slept on. I mean, it was like, it was roughing it.
Yeah.
I loved it. You could wake up and get beer in the middle of the night.
You're like, this is the best place that we could ever stay.
He had a pizza maker. We could make the pizza and it goes through the machine. And it was a jackpot. But I was worried because that's not normal. Like normally your parents, at least, I mean, maybe live in a trailer even.
Yeah.
But he lived in a convenience store.
I totally get that. I mean, my parents are both blue collar. My mom was a teacher for 30 years.
Your parents are divorced, right?
Yeah, they're divorced. My dad at the time when I met Jax was the head janitor at an elementary school, and he was mopping floors, taking out trash, and nothing wrong with that. It was a job, and he got insurance, and but I certainly didn't come from fancy background. You know, my dad was living in a little house. My mom was in a little apartment. And so when Jax came home with me, it was like, we're going to be staying in my mom's little apartment and we're all going to be tucked in there together. It's going to be real tight, but you know, that's just where you come from. And the biggest thing was like, are my parents going to be nice? Do I come from good people?
Yeah.
Are they going to treat her with kindness? And they did. And that, you know, I think that at the end of the day, carries more weight than going to some fancy house and everyone's a dick.
Yeah.
I'd rather have kind people, you know? And so, I think at this point, you know, you're just kind of used to like, this is who I am. This is my family. This is my background. I'm from a small town. You know, both my parents are retired now and both have good lives and are happy and stuff like that. But we always had to struggle to pay the bills. You know, we'd get the lights would turn off and you'd be like, oh, mom's late on the water bill, the electric bill. It just was a part of our journey. We were always pitching in. We all started working at a young age, and
really,
it was just
What was your first job?
I worked at the recreation department. Well, babysit. I started babysitting at like 10 years old. I was babysitting kids when I was like still kind of needed a babysitter. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah, everybody did. I think
back in the day, you just were like, you know, hiring the 11-year-old to come watch the 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And I remember being equally scared. Like I need somebody to make sure I'm okay too.
Yeah,
but
I did same thing.
My grandma would come check on me as I'm babysitting the other kids, and you know, she ended up having to do as much work as me, and I got paid. But then at 15, I started working at the recreation department. I was helping with t-ball and coaching tennis, and then I worked there every year all throughout high school. I was lining softball fields and picking up trash and a lot of manual labor, answering phones and stuff like that. But everybody in my family worked. At one point, both of my brothers and my mom, because in the summer, you know, teachers had to find other employment. She was a waitress. It was called Quincy's. I don't know if y'all had them in Florida, but it was like the Sizzler.
Yeah.
She was a waitress, and my brothers were dishwashers. All three of them working at Quincy's. It was so embarrassing, but you know, we had to pay the bills. But you know, and I'm sure that was hard on my mom. She had a master's degree, you know, was a teacher, and she's like waiting on her friends, in you know this, you know, all you can eat big fat yeast roll establishment.
God,
so
it just made me hungry.
But you know, when it comes to paying the bills, you can't have pride. Sometimes you gotta suck pride up and just do what you have to do to pay the bills. So I think I take that mentality with me. So even though I have this LA life and I have this job, I don't get too embarrassed about my background, because I knew that's kind of what you had to do to like I said, pay the bills.
Yeah. The holiday season is here, and with it comes the yearly question of what do I wear to the non-ugly sweater parties? How do I maximize my time savoring holiday moments and minimizing my times shopping for gifts? Fear not, weary holiday wanderer. Mack Weldon has all the answers for you, whether it's an office party, a party with family or friends, or just a holiday party, your couch, a game on TV. Mack Weldon has all the essentials to keep you stylish and comfortable throughout the season. And their innovative daily wear system has taken the hard work out of planning your outfits with pieces designed to work together for any occasion, saving you time and sparing you extra holiday stress. I love my Mack Weldons. I honestly, I think I've talked kind of crazy about them because I ran into them, and you cannot get me out of them on my tour bus. They've got top-notch, best-selling bottoms and underwear. I'm wearing Mack Weldons right now. Are you really? I swear to God. I'm like sitting there going, oh, my balls feel great. Pairing soft, high performance fabrics with unmatched style, these have been the pieces you will live in, and I literally live in them and hang out and wear them to run errands around town. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not a fan of the cold. Feeling like a popsicle doesn't suit me well, but with Mack Weldon's warm knit collection that features shirts, vests, pajamas, pants, and even more, my chilly days are behind me using innovative technology that uses your own body heat to keep you at the perfect temperature. These products from Mack Weldon have me saying something like I would never thought, and that is I am ready for the cold. I'm ready for cold touring. For 20% off your first order, visit MacWeldon.com/Bert and enter the promo code Bert. That's MacWeldon.com/Bert and enter the promo code Bert for 20% off Mac Weldon. Mac Weldon, get it right this holiday season. It's the holiday season. And do you know what to get as a stocking stuffer this year? If you don't, today's sponsor, Manscaped, has the tools to guarantee you a win this year as a stocking stuffer or when you play White Elephant. Is White Elephant the one where you steal other people's gifts?
Yeah.
Well, Manscaped's got you in mind because they are the leader in men's below-the-waist grooming, and they have served more than 4 million men worldwide. And if my math's correct, that's probably right around 8 million balls. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com/Bert. The number one thing you need to know about Manscaped is their Lawnmower 4.0. This thing is the best thing to trim your balls. They've got the ceramic technology, skin safe technology. You're not going to nick yourself at all. And it's got a little light on there. They've moved the light now. LeeAnn's got one and I've got one, and we are very clean down there. I was going to say something horrible, and then I was like, LeeAnn's going to get fucking pissed. Let's not forget about their famous liquid formulations, the Crop Preserver, Ball Deodorant, and Crop Reviver, Ball Toner to maximize your ball hygiene. Get the Performance Package now, and you receive their 2 free gifts, Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. I'm telling you, they are a win for stocking stuffers. You got number 1, the Manscaped 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, just launched, 2 birds of 1 stone. Why wouldn't you use that? Manscaped Cologne Infused Body Wash, the Shears 2.0 Luxury 4-piece nail kit, crop mops, ball wipes for your stinky balls, and I love those on the tour bus. And they're great right before you go to bed. Manscaped Signature Cologne. These formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, paraben-free, so you know their products are legit. All you got to do to get 20% off plus free shipping is go to manscaped.com/Bert. That is 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com/Bert. Be the ballsiest gift giver this year with Manscaped.
There's a lot of value to blue collar background.
Mm-hmm.
I was never worried about my family treating him poorly. Never. Just to stay in a convenience store part. The rest of it, I was like, everything else is fine.
Yeah.
But there's so much there's so much acceptance in a different way in the blue collar community than there is in the white collar community. It's a different kind of acceptance, I think. And if you move from blue collar into white collar and you take that with you, it makes you, in my opinion, a really dynamic and kind of broader person because you can learn to accept more things than most people, I think.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of blue collar people really value, like you said, who people are, not what they do for a living, not their title, not their job. They value their commitment to their family and their commitment to their job and their word and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And not that that's not present in white collar, but I think it's different. Right.
It is different. I talked about this. My mom grew up with a lot of money. She came from a very hoity-toity background. Yeah. Her dad was a well-known contractor back in North Carolina. He built things everywhere, schools, churches, houses. He was very prolific and made a lot of money, but he died young. They lost all the money through a series of bad decisions. They owned a hardware store, and Home Depot and Lowe's came in. My grandmother was too proud to file bankruptcy. She paid off all the debt. And so by the time I was coming up, there was no money. All that was gone. So my mom had this upbringing of a very privileged life, and now she's married to my dad, who had a new job every 2 years, and it was all very blue collar from there. So she would try to dip her toe back into that fancy world. She made me be a debutante, but I grew up, going to my dad's trailer, eating chicken wings, at Hooters, and then here I am, like, you want me to be a what? Like, so to try to be in that world was such a trip for somebody like me. I'm just like closeted lesbian, I just want to be on the softball field, and here I am having to wear a big white wedding gown.
Is that picture online?
Yeah, it's online.
I've got to see.
Of you as a debutante?
Yeah, it's probably, but I have a lot of pictures on my Instagram.
That's
I might
amazing.
have it on.
What a great exposure to two different worlds that you could just absorb, right?
Yeah, it was wild. That's the one.
What?
That's it right there. See the big white wedding gown?
Look beautiful. Who you with?
That's my brother.
Brother?
We got married.
True Southern
Well,
fashion.
it was the South.
It looks like we're at our wedding, right? That's so crazy. Yeah, so I did that for my mom. You're welcome.
What'd you learn from being a debutante?
I mean, my grandmother was very much a lady. You know, she was very into manners and she was very into how you present yourself to the world. So while I have this like blue collar background and, you know, I can be in any situation and not feel like, this is, you know, I can be in a trailer and be like, it's fine. You know, I can stay in any place, be in any situation. But then that world taught me how to talk to people, how to shake hands, how to have manners. So I just, you know, I feel like it just sort of made me a little more well-rounded, maybe.
It's nice. It's nice to have rich people confidence in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Like I went to Cotillion.
I did too.
Cotillion taught us how to eat, how to dance.
Yeah.
How to certain things that and my Uncle Jerry also taught me how to eat. Because the silverware, hold a fork and knife. I just talked about this on Two Bears, One Cave with Tom. If I see someone holding a fork and knife wrong, I correct them.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, because I go, it's an awkward lesson right now. Well, yeah, I ate with a fucking guy one time who was holding his knife like this and his fork like this.
Yeah.
And doing this. And I was like, stop. I was like, this is an awkward interaction right now. You think it's awkward, so I'm correcting you. But this is going to benefit you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm going to teach you an easier way to use those two utensils.
Yeah, you're going to get carpal tunnel doing this.
Yeah. I mean, right? It's amazing to me. It is a clear signifier when you see the way I've seen people hold a spoon like this, where they're like, and then you're just like it's almost like no one was like, hang on, stop right there. Right. That's not the way you do that. Yeah. But in those, I didn't realize this. I had gone to an event. My uncle was in politics, and so he'd eat with a bunch of the event I learned at was a huge dinner table full of senators and senators and representatives, congressional representatives, and I didn't understand anything about the plate. And the guy next to me, older guy, said, "Who taught you how to eat?" And I said, "Well, no, I don't know. Is there a way to learn?" Yeah. He's like, "You're not doing it right." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not?" And he said, "No, you're not doing it right, and we're going to teach you." Yeah. He's like, "Jerry, come on over here." And Jerry said, my Uncle Jerry didn't grow up with money. And so he had to learn how to eat. Yeah. And it was very simple. It was very simple. It goes outside in. Yeah. Yeah. But if you don't know that, it's the smallest detail. Yeah. That is a huge signifier to other people you've never been there before. Right. The smallest detail and all of it, all like the fork and knife, how to hold that, how to eat salad, not to use your fingers. Right. Like little things that I was like,
oh man, I've been seeing so many people lately eating like salad and stuff with their fingers.
I know.
Really?
And it's such a trip. And I mean, listen, I'm a beast when I'm hungry. Obviously, it all goes flying everywhere. Yeah. But it's just seeing people scoop it up with their fingers.
Well, because no one's made utensils that are useful for salad yet. Right. A fork is so difficult with the salad, especially the thin ones. What I've been using is serving forks. Okay. Like a big serving fork to eat salad with.
To get a bunch of the stuff with the lettuce. Because normally you get lettuce and all the other beans and whatever else is cheese, it falls off.
I went to dinner with a movie star one time, like a legit movie star, and they didn't know how to use chopsticks.
Chopsticks are hard.
Chopsticks are hard, but when you are a millionaire.
That's true.
It was like
you should hire a tutor.
Well, it's like we ate sushi and they didn't know how to use chopsticks. They were like fuck these things.
And then started using their hands.
No, well, at first they were like, can you do the thing with the rubber band?
Oh, right.
And I was like, oh. No. I'm like, hold on. They do that for children. Like, don't have them do that for you.
The worst is when you're trying to pick one up and it just falls in the soy sauce and it splashes everywhere.
Oh, the worst is when they don't make the bottom rice tight enough to soak. And then come up.
And it falls down.
I love sushi so much.
Sushi's good.
One meal that you were sushi was a meal that one meal that you were introduced to that the first time you said, I'll be eating this again tomorrow.
I'm probably Thai food.
Oh.
I never had Thai food. I never had a lot of food, like Asian food, probably till I came to LA. We had Chinese buffets back home.
Yeah, but it was a little different.
Yeah, it was like everything's fried, sweet and sour sauce, which I love. I'm not gonna lie, but sushi I had I lived in Spain for a year right after college, and I tried sushi for the first time in Spain. Because weirdly enough, there are a ton of Japanese people that live in Spain because they love flamenco dancing.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I had some of the best sushi in my life in Spain.
How crazy.
I would have never guessed.
Me neither.
I love when you hear like a new stereotype that you never heard. Like I were hitting golf balls at the other day, and they said, we're doing this in, I shouldn't say. They were like, hang on, clean this up, Halston. We were hitting golf balls and they were saying we were thinking about doing this in LA. And I said, oh, Koreans would love it. And they're like, Koreans? I go, oh, Koreans play golf like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And they're like, for real? And I was like, are you being serious right now? I go, that's all Koreatown is driving ranges.
Right.
It's like driving range after driving range.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, it's huge in the Korean community.
I did not realize that myself.
Oh, yeah.
Learn something every day.
That's where, if you're going to go hit golf balls in LA, you're going to Koreatown.
Yeah.
That's your only option, really. Or join a country club. But, and so I love when you hear certain things like that, like you didn't know. You didn't know something about a group of people, and you're like, oh, they love flamenco dancing.
Right.
You're like, oh, shut up.
I guess not everyone, but yeah.
No, but like one of the things about Cuban people, and that is someone was like, oh, I remember my buddy Tony's Cuban. He's like, Cuban people, we just put pictures all over the fucking wall. And every time, I heard that when in like ninth grade, and I was like,
that either.
I was like, oh, every time I see pictures that are like this, I go, it's so Cuban.
That's funny. Yeah.
Well, I was not influenced by Cuba in any way when I hung all these pictures on the wall.
No.
It was just me.
You're like,
it's just a massive amount of art that you own.
We just want to celebrate Birdie boy.
So the Thai food. I remember having
love Thai food.
Thai food I'd had Thai food before, but it wasn't until I went to, what's the place on Sunset? Rock and Roll Thai.
Oh, Rock and Roll Thai.
Is that
like
what it's called?
Something like that. It's not rock and roll. It's something. I know what you're talking about. Toy.
Oh yeah, that was a big one.
Toy.
That place they had rock and roll noodles or something that were. It was one of these things that I put it in my mouth and I was like, I will not get sick eating this.
Yeah,
I will eat this. I can't imagine there'll be a time where this doesn't want to be in my mouth.
Oh,
they should make toothpaste like this.
I love Thai food. We finally went to Thailand a couple of years ago. I ate the food's so good.
I bet.
So what's the thing when you get married and do you guys have goals? Do you guys sit down and go, we should see all the places we wanted to see. Mm-hmm. We should how did you guys structure that when you got married? Was it like our marriage was more or less based around having kids.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, what's your goal in this lesbian relationship?
Yeah, and so
well, it could be focused around having kids.
No, I'm saying when we got married, there was no thought into. There was no
He trapped me.
When you got married, you guys got married, and then you're like,
me.
You guys both also have kind of you have a vagabond spirit about you because you're on the road a lot.
Yeah, we're very we bounce around a lot of places together. We're like a traveling circus, the two of us. Well, I mean, I don't think we're gonna have kids. We've talked about that a lot in our relationship. We've been together 6 years, married just for one. Mm-hmm. But we feel like we've been married for most of that time. My wife is a teacher. She's not teaching right now, but she's amazing with kids. Amazing. Kids love her. They gravitate towards her. As a teacher, she's incredible. So if there's anyone I should have kids with, it would be her. Like she would be the person. But because she spent so much of her life surrounded by 5-year-olds, she's a kindergarten teacher, like so it's like tons of 5-year-olds her whole life. I think she's like good. She's like, I'm good. And so I was always like, I'll have kids if whoever I end up with really wants them. But if they don't, I'm probably good too.
Right.
So
that's interesting. You get to decide if you want to have kids.
Well,
I don't think
hetero couples get to decide that too.
I think the majority
Anybody
of
can
we have no control.
the majority of heterosexual couples.
Some people in this couple have no control.
You pop it in, see what happens.
Some people had no control. Just say it. Shut up. You do the math. You do the math on who had no control.
But I think a lot of heterosexual couples get married and then have kids because they go, that's what you're supposed to do.
Natural progression.
I do feel like there's a pressure for the heteros to follow that path for sure. When you meet like heterosexual couples who don't have kids, they're almost like they're always like, wait, why don't y'all have kids? It's like
what's wrong
down
with you?
Upon or something.
It is an interesting decision when a heterosexual couple goes, we chose not to have kids, and then you're like, interesting.
Yeah. But then people kind of judge it, don't you think?
Yeah, they do. Absolutely do.
Yeah, there's like a judgment there, but then they're like, they look so well rested.
Right.
They have a lot of expendable money.
Well, there's the stereotype. There's the stereotype of the of that selfish. I always think of the couple who lived across the street from Chevy Chase in Christmas Vacation. Oh, Julia Louis-Dreyfus and the other guy.
Right.
And they're jogging at 11 o'clock at night in sauna suits, and they have the newest technology.
Yeah.
Do I know any couples that don't have kids?
I have a cousin who's married and they don't have kids.
Well, yeah, I remember
there's her sister Leslie.
No, I know.
And they don't have kids.
Yeah, no, I know that. Oh, that was. I was thinking of that. That was like She decided that when she was like 8.
No, that's her sister. Her sister decided when she was really young she would never have kids, and she ended up having kids, but by accident.
Oh, okay.
So she has a daughter.
She slipped and fell on a dick.
That happens. That does happen.
It does a lot.
I've never fell on one.
But
you did see my butthole.
But
I did see your butthole.
Someone told me about that.
And
you're so lucky.
Someone told me about that, and I go, "No, what are you talking about?" And they're like, "Oh, I didn't mean it rude." And I go, "I've never shown Fortune my butthole."
You forgot about it.
And then they were like.
It wasn't as good for him.
Well, no, it's so funny. The way they said it to me, they were
like we just did it.
You're the type of guy that would show Fortune your butthole, and I went
hilarious.
I went, no, I wouldn't. And they were like, yeah, you would. And I was like, because I'm thinking in this Me Too world that I'm like, what are you saying? The kind of person I am. And then like, you showed your butthole to Fortune, and I go, hold on. No, I haven't. And they're like,
that's so funny.
On the cabinet. And I was like, oh yeah, I did.
I have a lot of people come up to me about that episode.
They do?
Yeah, a lot of people were like, I saw you in the cabin. And I'm like, that's so funny. That
was a really popular show.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
We went up to that mountaintop. Remember that in the morning, and that barn was steaming?
Yeah, that was like not long before the pandemic.
It was January.
Right before the pandemic. And we filmed that up there, and I didn't know. No one told me. They just were like, "You're gonna walk in," and
no one knew what it was.
Just whatever happens. But I expected that with you, like that it was just gonna be.
There'd definitely be a butthole somewhere.
I figured I'd see one ball sack and a butthole, something. But a lot of people would come up to me and be like, "Why did you leave Bert?" And I'm like, "It's a show. I didn't like me as Fortune decide." Oh, I'm gonna leave.
Oh, because that's right. Because in the episode,
I leave. I sneak out of the house. I'm like, oh, I gotta go. And while you were wanting me to
wax my
wax your butthole,
and then Nikki Glazer came in.
Nikki Glazer came in. People legit are like, why did you leave? I'm like, it's a show. It was said. Fortune leaves, and then here comes the next
it's
people.
Interesting,
right?
It's interesting because I never knew how to answer those questions.
Right.
They think it's reality.
They think that we're all just, I mean, like, we are all friends and hanging out in that case, but, you know, you and I don't normally milk goats as part of our friendship. But, they love the part of me spraying your butthole. I got you good right in the,
you did.
Right in the hole
right
a couple times. You were like, whoa.
You got that Southern girl aim.
That's right. It was like that old game where you're trying to get the ducks.
Spray in the clown's mouth.
The bullseye game.
It finally paid off.
God, I completely forgot about that. I've forgotten about the cabin because it happened it aired during the quarantine.
Yeah, we filmed it and then the world shut down.
Yeah,
it was nice to have that in the pocket.
Yeah, for sure.
To have because new programming was hard to come by.
Yeah, you got it in right under the wire.
It was good timing, and that was just divine.
Yeah,
nobody knew.
You know what I remember from that time is that we filmed it out in the outskirts of LA, and I was driving to meet you there. It was in the morning. And I remember everything was like totally normal. And then you hit this part of like Calabasas or whatnot.
That's a picture of us.
Where it was so foggy, you couldn't see your hand hardly in front of your face.
Right.
And we went up to the top of that mountain together. We were looking out and you just see fog everywhere. And I remember us talking on the top of that mountain going, it is so foggy here. But it wasn't like that anywhere else.
Right.
It's like normal. And then a week later, Kobe Bryant's plane went down in that area.
Fog.
Right on the street.
No way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, his helicopter. Yeah, like literally right in that area, in that same area.
It's because if I'm not mistaken, they were telling us that the cold air from the ocean comes in and the hot air from the mountains, and it meets, and it just creates like a dense fog.
But I remember being shocked at the weather's totally fine, totally normal, and then all of a sudden you can't see.
Wow.
And I never experienced that because I don't go to that area very often.
Right.
So that was crazy.
Do you have dream places you'd like to live in LA?
I mean, I want to buy we live in the house that I've had for 8 years. I want to buy a bigger house. We're just busting at the seams. But the market's so crazy.
It is insane.
Now I don't really have a dream area. I just want to find a house that doesn't cost an arm and a leg.
That's one of the things. I hate to keep going straight couple versus gay couple, but
hey, we can dig in.
But no, because you guys have it just seems like we were talking about this bunch. And I have a bit that I'm working on about it. There seems to be more almost planning when you're a gay couple. You kind of get, because you're not maybe it's just the way we were. We didn't have any we just were pregnant, poor, and then
pregnant, poor. So you guys were together, you were dating, and you got pregnant unexpectedly?
Unexpectedly. I was on the pill.
How long were y'all dating?
Year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and he'd already bought a ring. He was
so you
propose.
knew.
Yeah, I already knew I was gonna.
We
I knew
were
I wanted
on
to marry
that.
her.
So it wasn't like
so when she got pregnant, the only thing I had left to ask was, can she get pregnant?
Right.
Because she was old as fuck.
I was not. I was 33.
Which is so old.
Such an asshole.
Her uterus was on a ledge.
What a dick.
What a dick this guy is. What a dick. Tell me about it. I got pregnant on the pill.
Are there cobwebs down there?
Oh, it was.
Clearly not.
I went down there and I was like, hello.
Right?
Hello.
Fertile Myrtle over here.
Fertile Myrtle.
Yeah, the redneck showed up. And so
you didn't freak out per se when
I didn't freak out. I was excited.
You were.
I freaked out a little bit because I was I was a writer. I was getting a lot of traction with my writing, and I knew myself well enough to know once I'm a mom, that's it. I'm a mom.
Right.
I'm not going to be somebody. That's not my personality to be you raised her,
right?
And I'll be back at 5.
Yeah.
We had a nanny only for the little window of time where I had to work so that I could support his journey.
Right.
So, and it was only while I worked. The minute I walked in, she left. Nobody cooked my meals. Nobody did my laundry.
Yeah. Isn't that incredible? My wife's very much like that. Very supportive of the journey, like you said. When you find somebody that supports your dream.
She was. I could
Yeah.
not be here today without what she did to get me here, because it was it was just everything, like doing spots at night, and then and then staying out at night and going to Brea and Irvine. I went to Brea and Irvine. Brea Irvine every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, I went to either Brea or Irvine.
Yeah.
So I'd go back and forth. It was back when Dan and who was the other, Dan and his name.
I can see his face. I can see him.
Yeah, I can see him too. His name's on the tip of my tongue. They both ran Brea Improv, and they were big fans of me, Segura, and Ian Bagg. And so they booked us every Tuesday to do the end of the night.
Yeah.
So like, they usually, and then they had Comedy Juice would do shows down there, I think. But and then I was on the road making $700 as a feature, and then I jumped up to $900 as a headliner, and no money at all. I could never have gotten through that single. I mean, in all honesty, I would have had to get a job if I was single because I couldn't have paid the bills.
Right.
But she worked and she got our apartment for free.
I was an apartment manager. I managed 139 apartments.
Wow.
And we had health insurance and rent, and I got paid $2,000 a month.
Wow.
So I was like, that takes care of living. Like we rent, and I can buy groceries, and I can make sure, and we have health insurance.
Yeah.
So we can't really do anything else.
Right. Y'all were a team right away.
Yeah.
That's why
I was just telling someone.
Yeah.
I was telling someone that we were talking about numbers, about what our touring numbers were. My initial offer was $1,350. I don't know who was telling this to. $1,350, 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And Erin was like, and I'll get you more weeks, trust me. But she's like, accept the offer at $1,350 for the 10 weeks, and I'll get you more weeks. And I was like, okay. And then the next year it was 22 weeks at like $1,500. And that was a game changer for me.
Right.
Now, granted, I still had to pay managers, agents. They gave me taxes. I think they gave me travel.
Right.
And they put me up in the condo or in a hotel.
They gave you accommodations. We had to still had to pay for flights.
Oh yeah, it was like $400 accommodations.
Yeah.
And and I was like, and then I remember they got us to 15, and then we were supposed to, theoretically the next year we were all going to 17, and they lowered it back down to 13. It was 2008.
Oh, so when the crash happened.
Yeah,
That's right.
and so and everyone, a bunch of people decided not to take the offer. They're like, but I didn't have that option. I was like,
two kids.
I was like, I still
kids at that point. Wow,
still need the money, and so I took it, and I was just talking about this with someone, maybe Jesus this weekend. We were talking about what people were making on the road, and what he was making, and I was explaining my initial offers. But I mean, I remember Daniel Tosh came over to our house one night and was like, we were gonna go gamble, and I said to LeeAnn, can I have $100? And she was like,
you actually asked me for $50.
Yeah.
And I said, we don't have it. And he goes, no, I mean, like, go to the bank and get it. And I went, no,
we don't have it.
We actually don't have it.
Yeah.
So sorry. Like,
Man.
I could give you $20, but then I don't have anything.
Right.
So that's how we were living in the beginning. It was kind of crazy. And it was crazy too. I freaked out too, because I was like, I can't be married to a comic. I'm going to be broke, like legit broke. I'm never going to get out of this job. Like I had this real spiral for a minute. And my closest friend at the time, who ended up being our maid of honor, came over, and she was like, you're just having a panic attack. This is where you're supposed to be. So relax. He's the person for you. Aww. There's nobody else for you. And let's go watch Finding Nemo.
Oh, that's
what we did. And we went and watched Finding Nemo. And by the end of the movie, I was like, okay, I think I can do this. Okay, I think you're right. I think I'm good.
So that's got to be we were talking about full circle stuff earlier. I mean, for you, seeing Bert reach all these new big pinnacles, that's got to mean a lot to you too. I mean, I think about that with my wife. She came a little bit later in the journey, but still, you get a lot of no's, and your partner's the one that sees a lot of that hard stuff.
She showed up for you 6 years ago, right? I'm trying to think, because you did a little bit of a rebirth at one point. I felt you did, at least, because you'd always worked, but it wasn't very recently. Yeah, you kind of took off.
I think that my Netflix special had a lot to do with that, because it was a lot of the stuff I'd done was
that came out 2 years ago,
right at the beginning. January 2020. Yeah. And it was the first time people saw me for a whole hour of me telling my story. They'd seen me in Chelsea or the Mindy Project. I was always popping into things. she's in a movie for 2 minutes being really funny, but like we don't know much about her. And that was the first time people really saw me and my voice, and I think it did a lot for me.
That was your
it catapulted
your catapult. I felt, but even still, I think before then you that's when I started noticing you gaining traction.
Yeah,
right around when you started doing the Netflix thing with Tom. How long have you been doing that?
That started about 2.5 years.
Okay,
yeah, but a lot of people didn't know. I started touring in 2010, and a lot of people didn't know that about me. I started headlining right after Last Comic Standing.
Oh, that's right. You did Last Comic Standing. Wait. Tell me about your career again, because I forgot you did Last Comic Standing.
Yeah, I did. Well, I started in improv at the Groundlings in 2005. Started stand up 2007 at the Comedy Store, and so I got Last Comic Standing pretty quick. 2010.
God, 3 years.
So it was only 3 years into stand up.
Wow.
So
that is quick.
I was in just enough episodes for people to be like, oh, she's interesting, and want to hire me, but I had no material. I had like 15 minutes of material. So suddenly I was like headlining, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do 45 minutes? I just had to figure it out. So the only bummer is I never got to open for people. I never got to learn from them and see how they do it, which I do think is really important. I tell, like, I'm finally getting to hire openers myself, and I tell them, like, take all this in. Like, you need this.
Oh,
you know?
Listen, I teach a master class.
Yeah.
Sometimes very unwanted.
They're like,
welcome.
I love talking about
They're like,
comedy.
no more PowerPoint presentations.
It's the shove down the throat version.
I am so there's so much that I want to tell people.
But you were given that gift.
Yeah.
You were given that gift. I remember when you were middling and Tom was opening for Jay Moore, and you learned a lot from your relationship with Tom at the time, but also from watching Jay, watching his successes and his mistakes, and he gave you a lot of good advice.
I remember someone asked me, Steve Fury said we went to do radio, Cowhead, and he goes, how do you do radio? And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, like, how do you do it? And I was like, you just talk. And he's like, no, I've never done radio. I don't know what radio is. And I got very lucky in that Jay Moore literally, he let me go to do radio with him, and I would watch him do radio, and he was a fucking master.
Yeah.
Him and Daniel Tosh, the two best people I've ever seen do radio.
Really?
Daniel Tosh was destructive. It's so interesting. They were both very, very different, but watching Jay do radio was like invaluable, right? Because then when I went to headline, I knew the energy you had to come in with, like, because you know, if you got screwed, I mean this with 100% respect, and I don't mean this disrespectful, but like I watched Patton on the Comedians of Comedy do radio, and that energy was very much, you know, that group of guys was like
more low key.
Yeah, no, they didn't find radio to be fun because it was a little hacky and it was a little like we got man in the
turning
box.
It on.
And like I think Patton does radio in that. I remember watching that thinking, oh, I don't like I'd never seen someone do radio like that. I think he put his feet up on the counter and was like, and it was
a little too laid back maybe.
Right.
It was almost like, and I'd watch people do radio where they were like this is stupid. I don't want to do this.
Oh, you can feel the energy.
Yeah, and they were just like, I don't want to be here. Segura's like that. Segura definitely goes into radio, and he's like, I don't want to be here. I need you to know that.
Shocking, right?
Yeah.
The contrarian that he is.
Yeah, he cut out the middleman and just reaches out to people himself now.
I think so.
And so, but to watch, you know, for lack of better terms, Jay gave a ton of respect to whatever radio station was at. He gave them all of himself. Yeah. And I remember that was one thing I noticed where I was like, I remember going in and doing one radio show and I was like, these guys are fucking idiots. And they ended up shitting on Jay afterwards.
Oh, really?
And yeah. It was odd because I remember Jay was in the car and he was like, what the fuck did I do to them? Yeah. And because he went in and was like, I want to say we were in Arizona and he was just like, just gave him a killer fucking interview.
Yeah.
And back in the day, radio was how you sold tickets.
Right.
It's not the internet.
And these guys just decided to shit on him, and but it was really interesting, and I will say this, and I say this respectfully, but you do learn as much. There's a line in a song called Judith, but you learn a lot on what not to do. You almost learn more on what not to do than what to do sometimes. I'm certain they're taking a master class on what not to do with me.
They're learning both, I'm sure.
I can make a list,
right?
I can make a list.
Eating at 3 a.m, fucking gaming.
That's hard not to. We're all on the road. It's hard to keep it tight and right?
I think your cortisol gets all
I'm the fattest I've ever been right now.
All that shit
same.
gets sideways.
The pandemic's been rough.
Yeah.
Oh, I just threw up in my mouth. That's how fat I am.
You got hungry and threw up.
Jesus. I'm like.
Too much chili.
Yeah.
I love sports betting. It makes sports so much more fun. If you're into sports betting, then you know how quickly the odds can change, how quickly the lines can change, rather. And if you got a lot riding on those lines or those odds, it pays to stay ahead of the curve. So before placing your bets, listen to the Daily Tip presented by BetMGM for the best betting analysis and information. We used to do this in college, but we did it via beeper, and it was so much more difficult than this. That's why I love listening to the Daily Tip, because they make you feel confident before you place your bets. A lot can change between last night's game and today's odds. The Daily Tip gives you an early look at all the angles. Hosts Michael Jenkins and Chelsea Messenger break down the big takeaways and make sure you know everything you need to know to bet smarter. With featured guests like bookmakers, Audacy list insiders, and BetMGM experts, you always got a fresh take on the action. Your friends are going to be wondering, how the fuck do they know what they know? Where did they hear it from? How does he doing this? As much fun as it is to bet on the games, it's even more fun when you got the inside scoop. Ready to bet with an edge? Tune in to the Daily Tip presented by BetMGM. Listen weekdays, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern on Audacy, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. Skylight frames. Holy shit. If you're looking for a gift, this is where you need to get it. I've told you this before. I've bought 15 skylight frames, probably more. My parents, my friends, my family, we have them in our house. We have them in our house that are just us. We have them in our house that are linked to my parents. We have them in our house that are linked to our friends. We have them in our house that are linked. So we have like 5 skylight frames all around the house. You cannot have enough. Here's what's great about skylight frames. Sets up in literally 60 seconds or less. And if my mom can do it, your mom can do it. You get an email address and you email these pictures to the skylight frames and bam, they pop up. You can preset your skylight frame if you'd like before Christmas with a bunch of great pictures. And it's a 10-inch touchscreen. You can swipe forward, swipe back. Nice black matte, gorgeous 10-inch touchscreen. And it's 100% satisfaction guaranteed. If you don't love your skylight frame, they're going to offer you a full refund. And like I said, you can preload it with all your favorite pictures, import pictures of you to your friends, and then you go to their house. This is what I do. And you see pictures of yourself at your friend's house. How fucking great is this? Right now, as a special offer, you get $10 off your purchase of a skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com and enter the code BERT, right? That's right. You get $10 off your purchase of a skylight frame. Just go to skylightframe.com and enter the code BERT. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com. And the promo code is BERT. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Like I spend too much at times. Like yeah. I'll tell you that my maybe it's my blind spot, but like I feel like it's important for me to make sure that the people I'm touring with are having a good time.
Well, I think you're like that anyway, right?
Yeah.
You kind of like everybody that's
I try to make sure we
have fun.
Yeah.
I got us tickets to UFC on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. So we do the show, we do our meet and greet, and then they pull us, down the guts of Madison Square Garden and take us in the back entrance to go sit and watch a UFC fight.
Oh, that's cool.
It was great. And and I'm sure a business manager would be like, hey man, like during the pandemic when we were doing those drive-in tours, I would just, instead of us quarantining at home, which sucks, I would have us quarantine and a beach house.
Oh,
I just get us a beach house or get us a house in Sedona.
Yeah.
And we'd spend a couple days there, make sure, everyone feel good. All right, let's go home.
Yeah.
But those little splurges for me, we're in Hollywood and, we have a sold out show and you make a good nut. Why wouldn't you take everyone to a steak dinner? And I think that's the road. That's one of those things that I learned via Tom through Rogan.
Right.
Rogan was always about steak dinner. You're going to eat the best. You're going to sleep. You're going to feel the best. You're going to have a great trip. And I'm going to make sure I cover everything.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Those are the little things where
it's a little bit of gratitude too. They're not making the money you're making. You're making so much money. You should be grateful and gracious.
Right.
You're hosting, really, even though they're working for you.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in your rolling living room.
Right.
So you should be a nice host.
Well, this is the first time I've done theaters in my career.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've done theaters.
Town Hall was one of my first.
Yeah.
New York during the festival.
Yeah. I mean, it was I've been doing mostly clubs and for the last 10 years. And I've done theaters like, you and So are co-headlining a theater. It's kind of like a one-off thing. But I mean, I was supposed to start at March of 2020. That was supposed to be the theater tour. So it got pushed a year and a half. So it got a little prolonged. But for me, this is my first time getting to host and have an opener and do these theaters. So it's...
Who you touring with?
What
comics
promoter?
No.
Oh,
you are right. You are fresh into your theater tour. You are really
who's promoting. I've been Mateo Lane a lot.
He is fucking.
He's amazing.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
he is gorgeous too. Gorgeous.
He posted pull up Mateo Lane's Instagram. He posted a picture the other day. It's the first time in my life this has ever happened. He was with two
he was
beautiful fucking women, and I did not notice them at all.
Yeah, look at that. Speedo.
I did not even notice them. I still am not looking at them at all.
Well, he's ripped. His sister is a nutritionist, and he used to be kind of he calls himself a twink back in the day, and she kind of sculpted his body through like a regime, like but now he does it on his own. He works out a very specific routine.
Love Mateo Lane.
Yeah,
Mateo Lane
eats very specifically.
Mateo Lane is one of those guys that 20 years ago I wasn't conditioned to enjoy their comedy.
Okay,
like 20 years ago, I'm a meathead. It would be like, I don't want to see some gay guy do comedy. Now you go. I'm so glad when you talk about progress.
Yeah,
that you go. Oh, I fucking love Mateo Lane.
He's great. He's so talented.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that 20 years ago was Ellen, right? And she had to be in the closet to do stand-up because America just didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Why didn't America, and I'll put myself in that because I'm just a regular person, just like everyone else. Why didn't, I keep throwing up in my mouth.
I made chili.
What?
Oh, there you go.
What changed, do you think?
I mean, I think we had to evolve, as a species, as a country. I don't know what specifically changed. I mean, gay people had to fight for that respect. They had to be like, hey, we're people too. We had to fight for rights. I think, marriage equality made a big difference and in people's acceptance. People certainly fought against it for a long time.
How much do you think people coming out of the closet?
I was just about to say visibility, representation, that pushes the needle.
Because all you have to do is go, like, I'm trying to think, like, they're like, I would never really make a gay joke. I mean, I'd make a joke about, I have so many gay jokes in my new act, but they're all so pro-gay that I'm wondering if people think I'm gay. Like, I have so many.
I've always wondered if you're gay.
LeeAnn's
I've always been a head scratcher for me. I wonder if it is more people are leaving their hometowns than before. So you are getting exposed culturally, not only to different sexualities or sexual preferences or, ethnicities you're just exposed to with the internet too, with so many more people than
the internet. Certainly.
The Baptist church I go to, and I graduated high school. Was 74 people who had been together since kindergarten.
Right.
So how are you going to meet somebody that has some other way of life?
Right.
Because
if you didn't know gay people, it probably seemed scary to you. Like, you just hear what church or whatever teaches you that it's wrong.
You have no experience outside of your bubble.
About that. If heaven doesn't let gay people in, it's gonna look like fucking.
It's gonna look
like it's gonna look like the Middle East.
It'll be pretty bland.
Yeah, and so I do think the internet opened a lot of people's eyes to just seeing gay people. Once you know gay people, it's not so scary. You're like, oh, they're just.
I grew up, my mom and dad divorced when I was 7, and my mom moved me into a predominantly gay neighborhood in Atlanta because she thought a bunch of gay men are not going to diddle with my 7-year-old daughter.
Right.
And it was one of the most amazing ways to grow up because by the time I had no idea that gay was an issue.
Right.
Because that was my whole neighborhood. I lived there from 7 to 11.
Yeah.
And then moved on. But there were only 2 gay boys in my high school. And I kept going, I don't really even see them as gay.
Right.
I just see them as the two. One plays French horn and the other plays trumpet in the band. That's all I know.
I was like, is playing French horn a euphemism?
One plays
that's all I knew. I just knew that they were in the band and they hung out together all the time.
I mean, I think that's how the youth is now, right?
Yeah, I think it is. It doesn't matter.
That's also the thing. Progress. Usually the younger generations are more progressive, more liberal. So with every generation that passes, the new ones come ushering in, they don't think about gay, straight. I mean, that it's all like the young ones are just like, it is
what
whatever.
it is.
Yeah.
Do you think, I'm trying to think, I wonder, there's got to be a list of top 10 famous people to come out of the closet. For me, I think Ellen coming out of the closet was a very, very big moment for me.
Yeah. It was huge.
Because everyone loved Ellen.
Yeah.
Everyone loved Ellen. And what Ellen was showing you is that, you're going in with a negative connotation, not knowing that these people you have. Jesus Christ.
What's wrong with you? Did you have some kind of stroke earlier?
Oh, this chili is just making us
look
chili.
This is going to be the worst progressive conversation ever.
My God.
Like, they're like, no, if a guy who can drool and burp and throw up in his mouth.
And talk about progressive topics.
But that, like, I remember Rock Hudson. I remember that was the first, like, Rock Hudson, Liberace. I'm trying to think of,
but did they ever come out? They never came out.
No.
They came out.
They did?
Well, they didn't come out, but they got AIDS.
So.
And then they were like,
they never came out.
they definitely came out. They had to have come out.
I don't think so.
You're really dropping the ball.
I think that they died. They died in the closet, right?
I thought so.
No, they didn't die.
Those 2, I thought so.
I'm pretty sure.
What about the Brady Bunch dad?
Yeah, he. I don't know if he was ever out or not. I mean, but it was a different time. Like, you couldn't come out, and if if people knew you had AIDS, you were ostracized. I mean, it was a really horrific time.
It was terrible.
They were talking about Princess Diana.
Gay men that really had it bad, and so Princess Diana was one of the first people that
to shake hands with a gay
to normalize it.
An AIDS patient.
She tried to normalize it.
Anne Hayes. I don't know who Tim Cook is. Keep going.
You don't know who Tim Cook is?
CEO of Apple.
Tim Cook's CEO of Apple.
Yeah.
Apple, yeah.
What happened to the other guy?
Steve Jobs
He died
a long time.
A while ago. Steve Jobs died of cancer.
Yeah, I knew that.
I've
never heard of Tim Cook.
Too funny. Are these
Drew Barrymore's not gay?
What is this?
Bisexual.
This is a gay list.
It's a.
Are you kind of hoping you're on it?
Are we just looking at?
Are you hoping you're on it, like the top 10 comics to watch?
I mean, come on.
This isn't a real list. Billy Joe Armstrong.
He's bisexual. It
Openly
says
bisexual since 1995.
Clive Davis. Is this just people who've run trains on chicks?
Fergie.
This isn't
Fergie doing on here.
Well,
Fergie's married to a man.
No, they're divorced now.
Yeah, but
these seem like publicity plays.
It
look
says
like
I've had a lot
bisexual
of fun with
people.
women.
Yeah, I don't fucking get off this goddamn list. Whatever happened to Rod? Kate, she's really gay.
Kate McKinnon is gay.
Yeah. By the way, she's fucking awesome.
She's
really
amazing.
great.
She's so talented.
Yeah, she's super great.
She's really talented. Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Good God.
Maybe it's like a list of allies too.
This
I don't
sucks.
know. It's always
I might come out as bisexual.
It's always
Actually, you know what, guys? I want to tell you right now.
anytime you
I
get
could be on more lists.
you want to be on the gay list?
Yeah, hey guys, my name's Bert Kreischer.
Now I know why.
I'm bisexual.
Now I
Then you're
know
stepping on my
why-
bisexuality.
I'm sorry.
There's a reason I'm bisexual.
I'm sorry.
Oh man, I've seen that butthole. it looks good. Don't keep that away from the gays.
Tom and I tried to put. Tom and I
Keep it
tried
away
to.
from me. I'll pass. I don't need that.
LeeAnn said they can have your
You can
butthole.
have the
Tom and I
butthole.
tried to put butt plugs in our butthole.
Oh
next
my
week on
God.
the
That is
podcast.
TMI.
You're gonna be in the same room.
No, we already did it.
You already did it.
You
Yeah.
did it?
so you can't tell us
But
how it went.
why?
I cannot tell you how you went. You got to listen.
Was
to the
that
next
on the
episode.
Two
Wait.
Bears?
Two Bears? Yeah,
What?
I got us matching butt
But
plugs.
okay, well, first off, were y'all in the same room or you went to your own?
we went to
rooms?
the bathroom to put them in.
And
What is
then-
the purpose of a butt plug?
It's not enjoyment. I'll tell you that.
Not
Enjoyment at all.
Not you got no pleasure from it.
It was. I don't want to go into too great a detail.
Yeah, we don't want to
As you
give.
throw
We
up in
don't
your
want to
mouth?
give it away.
So I'm going to
Ugh.
start throwing it in my mouth.
I know.
Won't even be related
So-
to chili.
So y'all, but how do we know y'all really put it up there?
Listen, you got to watch the episode. You got to watch the
Okay.
episode. You got to watch the episode.
That's
Cut this out.
ridiculous.
Ready?
This
Cut
is
this out.
This is the
So
hard-hitting content. You're
told
gonna see on
Tom-
Two Bears.
Cut this out so no one hears. Tom went and tried to put his in and then faked it. Then
He
he
faked it?
and
How
he had
do you
it. He
fake
had it
it?
between his butt cheeks
Yeah.
on his butthole because it was vibrating and giving electroshocks.
Oh my
What?
god.
And so,
Why would you do that to your butthole? Is
well,
it
I guess you can leave this in. We're not gonna. When do we air this, Halston?
is it sexually stimulating?
Are you promoting anything? Do you have something to promote?
Just my tour.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So it's
She
like
has
a
her own line of butt
evergreen.
plugs. You didn't know this?
Yeah,
That's
this
ridiculous.
is where I bring out my butt plugs.
You can leave this in. You can leave this in
Get
because
it, butt plug.
Get it.
Do you have anything to plug?
So Tom went in and said he put his in.
Only LeeAnn and I appreciate that.
What was that? I missed the joke.
I would say, do you have any plugs? And we were saying butt plugs.
Do you have any plugs?
You have anything to plug? My butt.
Tom went in to put his in and he couldn't get it in, but then he put it between his butt cheeks.
Yeah.
And sat on it. And
Why
it was
couldn't he get it
vibrating.
in?
Baby,
Is his asshole
Well,
tight?
I tried to get mine
I've
in
had-
and I could not. I couldn't.
You have to like break a barrier, I've heard.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like
You gotta blow out an
to
O-ring.
get to the
Blow out
I've
an
asked
O-ring?
gay men about it because I don't know a lot about the butt stuff myself. You
Yeah.
have to, it hurts, and then you have to kind of break a little bit of a seal, and then it hits the like colon area, and that's where the pleasure
Oh, okay.
is. So you have to. It hurts, but then it's apparently euphoric.
Yeah, it was.
Interesting. Okay.
But you gotta go. You gotta be patient.
yeah. No pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain.
Okay.
It's not.
You got to be
it's-
patient.
It's
but then,
all pain.
But then once you get to the area, apparently it's like the greatest feeling ever for the dudes.
Got it.
It.
Okay.
It was.
Thank you for
That's what I've
explaining.
heard. That's what I've
Thank you.
heard.
It was undoable.
They couldn't. I guess they couldn't.
It was.
get
We
through the
both
first
tried. We
part.
both gave it.
They
the
had no
college try.
pain, no gain because
Yeah.
they couldn't
Yeah,
do
I
it.
couldn't get through the front door.
Nadov
thi-
wouldn't help you?
I imagine it's something you have to work your way up to.
I can barely. I mean, I have a hard
Yeah.
time shaving my balls, so I could barely reach because I'm so fat right now. So it was a lot of like I had to hold my breath and try to get down there.
Yeah,
And
Did you throw up in your mouth at all?
that's probably why you need
Go to the bathroom.
someone attached to it.
Yeah, maybe.
They have to work with you.
if Tom and I did it on each other, it would
Oh
be
my
easier.
god! Y'all can make a lot of money.
I think would
That
that,
would
be
be a good
considered
podcast.
cheating though? Would that be considered cheating if Tom put a butt plug in your ass?
Tom and I have
It
already
might
done
be.
much gayer stuff than that.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, we tethered our cocks together.
Oh, what?
Wait,
You didn't know
what?
that?
What is wrong with you?
But you didn't know that?
Why do y'all,
Honey, you don't talk to me anymore ever. So I don't ever see
Jesus,
you.
sounds like we're having marital problems.
No, I don't
Oh,
ever see you on
No,
the
we
road
did-
so much. I never see you talk to
We
you.
did. We for the live event.
You tethered them together.
We were at a dominatrix. You didn't know this?
No, I didn't watch your stuff.
So we
It makes me
LeeAnn's
nervous.
busy.
We
She's
went to a
cute. She's on the
dominatrix.
fort town over
Yeah.
here.
I don't get that sense of humor. I don't get
You're
there.
not into that part of Bert's
Uh-uh.
humor.
No, I don't get it.
well, it did really well for us.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
That's good. I will enjoy the fruits of that labor, but
There you
I don't
go.
enjoy the fruit.
she'll enjoy a nice steak dinner
Or the
thanks to
labor.
your tethered balls.
Oh, thank
It
you.
was our cocks. Our cocks were tethered.
Oh, sorry.
With an electric probe.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and she was basically hitting electricity
Yeah.
on each other. We had pants on, so it was inside our pants, and we
Okay.
put it on. But
I didn't know any of this happened.
This is, I mean, I guess if y'all make good money having people tune in for this.
it was. It was.
Your mom and dad must be so
was-
proud.
You're.
It was really worth
Bert's
it.
I feel like you're shaming me for my
Bert's like-
sexuality. I told you I'm bisexual.
Bert's like, you like this house? You deal with this.
I said that to someone the other day. I go,
You like these renovations?
Maybe that was
This is
the
what we gotta
master's
do.
degree in your prison training for FSU.
Oh man,
yeah, maybe.
how do you and Tom come up with this stuff? Like you're just like, hey,
That one was on the fly.
wouldn't it be funny if we?
Well, the butt plugs started with we were talking. We're always talking about sex. Sex is always on our minds,
Right.
So, and there are a bunch of sex stores in Austin, all around where he
Okay,
lives. And so I said,
I keep forgetting he moved.
I
"Yeah,
know.
I know."
I know you
I
got to
don't-
fly.
I
You
don't
got to
forget
fly
at
out
all.
there.
Mm.
I know. I heard you talking about the Hooters playing the other day.
The Hooters reached out.
They
What?
did?
Yeah, they reached out. They're like,
They
we're trying-
better reach out to me. I talked about them on my Netflix special.
They were like, "Hey, we're trying to square away this
God
plane.
dang it.
In the meantime, can we get you guys some shirts and stuff?" And I was like, "Fuck yes."
Apparently, Hooters sent me something a year
There
and a
we go.
half ago,
Yeah.
but it's been sitting on my agent's desk for a year and a half. They had to leave their offices, and thought they'd be back in 2 weeks. They just went back for the first time a year and a half later, and he
Wow.
goes, "There's a package on my desk from Hooters."
Oh my God. Please
my
tell me it's
God.
not wings.
I don't know what's in it.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's the thing right there.
No, that's nipple clamps.
Boy, Tom is hairy.
He is very hairy.
Yeah,
He looks like a bear.
Kind of gay with each other.
They're
think
two
so.
bears.
Y'all were
One
pretty gay.
We when we got our first
you-
COVID test, we were together.
You ever kiss?
No, we've never kissed, but we've there's Tom getting
Look at that, LeeAnn. Look at this. The two of them.
I'm such
bears.
a team player.
Two Bears No Context on Twitter.
Wow.
I might like that fucking.
But they give the people, I guess, what they want.
I guess.
Look, here's the thing. I have no ego with my comedy, so there's certain comics that I know. Like you're never going to see Bill Burr do something like this.
No,
I'm not saying
right.
Bill has ego with his comedy,
right.
but Bill's not doing something
He's
like
just
this.
he
does it
he's
different. Yeah, and as far as look,
you guys are here to shock and awe.
I guess, yeah.
It's there. Just I'm just here to make sure
I think
that
it's actually fun. I think they
Right.
they
They're here to have
actually have
fun.
fun. So it's
Yeah.
two
True.
dudes fucking
Two
around having
dudes
fun,
just sucking dick.
sucking dick, nipple clamps,
butt plugging each other.
butt plugging each
Hey,
other.
LeeAnn, we're just having fun.
just good old
Because I
fun.
call my
We're having-
girlfriend
we're
over and I
having
go,
fun jerking each
"Hey,
other off.
you want to stick a butt plug in each other's butt and then have a glass of rosé? Let's do it." I don't think so.
It was that clip y'all posted about you and the Kool-Aid was so funny. Oh my
Yeah.
God. When
You know how much Kool-Aid
when
we've
Tom
gotten?
was like, what, how much Kool-Aid are you drinking?
I was drinking a lot.
That was so funny though when you
We
were like,
went- I
you were
mean-
like, I'll get you one of these. He's like, God no.
I was unaware. I mean, we were going through Kool-Aid like crazy over
Yeah.
the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was drinking a couple gallons a day.
It was so funny that you were just so like, yeah, I'll get you one of these big mugs or full of Kool-Aid.
Those growlers, I filled a growler up. Oh, I should fill a growler up with
Kool-Aid.
wine
Oh
tonight.
man.
Wine? Why?
Because of the screening.
Oh no. We're
That's-
not.
that
You
picture-
can't bring it in. It's a legit movie theater. They won't let you bring that in. We're going to like
I'm not going to be sober during
a
this.
movie. Yeah,
You're going
yeah.
to what, see a movie?
You have to.
Okay.
And you don't want to go without your Kool-Aid?
It's my movie.
We're going to.
your
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I think you can kind of do what you want, right?
Yeah, I
I
can.
don't know. It's at the Regal.
Have you seen it yet?
No, I mean I did.
Are you excited?
I have been up until now. I have.
You're nervous.
Yeah, like it's. I don't want to. I don't know. It was fun when I don't know. The closer it gets to done, the less fun it's being. for me.
It's a lot of work. The editing process is gnarly.
Like I liked the beginning when it was like a hour
Yeah.
50 cut and you just saw all the takes.
Yeah.
I love that. I love when the next one when they skinnied it up,
Yeah.
and the skinnier it's getting, the less the more anxiety I'm starting to get.
Oh, interesting.
So I have a lot of anxiety.
It sucks
about
when you have to cut things that you really like too.
That's what's bumming me out. It's like certain things I really, really liked that
Yeah.
are getting cut, and you go, well, shit.
Yeah.
Like it fucking sucks. And because it's because as a comic, I go, that's why I'm telling you, I love doing specials because you like I did
You're
the day.
in control.
Yeah,
control
100%, yeah.
I might think about doing like a fucking 2-hour special.
Wow,
What?
that's long.
I have
That
so
is
much.
people would be
fucking
exhausted.
material right
Save
now.
the material.
For what?
Well,
And then a
release
next
another one
special.
6 months later.
Yeah.
Shoot them both at the same time. Release
you
one,
go.
release another 6 months later.
Yeah, part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
after like an hour 5, people are good.
They're exhausted.
Well, I tell the
They're
machine story
exhausted.
3 times.
not that.
I tell the
Just-
machine.
That's only 45 minutes. You got to fill in another 15. What are you going to do?
I just
Tell it
keep,
4
I keep
times.
telling.
Not that people don't want to hear Bert for 2 hours.
Maybe I will do 2
But-
specials.
I think you get tired.
Yeah.
Like, because at about 50 minutes, even if it's like the best special, I'm like,
they've laughed too much.
I'm so
Give 'em a
tired.
break.
I gotta go like take a
You don't
walk.
love comedy the way I do. I never get tired.
guys aren't
if it's a good
committed to
special,
comedy.
I'm like, oh, please don't say it's almost over.
You may be slightly indulgent in many things that you love.
It's not true.
Well, I'm gonna take a growler to the movie tonight full of wine. I think that's a little
A
indulgent.
growler. This picture's still up of them with the dominatrix.
It's hard to look away, isn't it?
You can't unsee it for sure.
Yeah.
But
Tom on all fours is an aggressive look.
so I'm assuming you guys have seen each other's wieners.
Yeah. We have identical dicks.
What?
Identical.
They look identical.
Weird.
If you sent me a
They
picture,
were
Those are so
separated at
weird.
birth.
we have identical
like you just like
dicks.
look at each other's wieners. That's like
Yeah.
what straight dudes do.
Well, I think when they grew up showering like after
Right.
PE,
So
or
you're like checking out junk.
Let me tell
Yeah,
you. Let me tell
I
you.
think
When we were
so.
kids,
Mhm.
showering was like the first. Like there was a stick in the middle of this room, and it had 9 heads on it,
Oh, right.
and everyone just had to stand around that thing
And just shower. Yeah.
looking at each other's dicks.
Right. Because I guess guys like to compare.
No. Here's the interesting thing: is you didn't look at each other's dicks, but you definitely saw other dicks. But you
weren't-
just kind of kept your eyes up here and did this.
Yeah.
The whole time.
But you would
But you
see 'em.
never could look at a dude's dick. That would get you beat up in a
Oh,
fucking
right.
shower if you. And when I was in high school, if you were like, oh, nice penis.
Oh, but that would be weird. That would be weird. Not even in high school.
Well, then
oh,
if-
I
nice
can see Bert
penis.
doing that though. That's a very good looking.
There was
penis.
a couple guys where I was like, I just want to keep looking. It's so big.
Oh my
Like
god.
I've never seen anything like that. I remember going like, oh, what the fuck is that? Like, and I was like, time
my
for me
God.
to fucking
So who is
Penis
someone
pump.
you want to work with?
penis
Fortune?
pumps don't even work.
They don't work.
What
No,
don't work?
Yeah, we got one of
Penis
those too.
pumps.
Oh, I don't even know what that is either.
I think
innocent.
you put it on your ween and pump it to
And
try
that
to
fills blood. It gets it bigger.
Get it pumped up.
Oh, for people who can't get it up.
No, it's for
No, it's
people.
just to
It's for
enlarge
people who
it.
it enlarges it.
Yeah.
But I tried one and my dick
What?
got stuck in it. Like I couldn't.
What?
Got too
It
big.
was just too large.
It's too big.
Did you have to get the Crisco out to get that out?
Guys are
baby?
so funny about their wieners.
aren't they? It's an
Yeah.
odd thing.
I think it is a weird thing. Is that it's like something you don't know about someone, and then you see it, and then you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever seen? I'll ask LeeAnn. Never mind. I'm not asking LeeAnn this at all.
Why?
Oh.
Nothing.
You don't want
About
to know
other-
if I've seen a
You don't
penis
wanna
that's
know
like
about
crooked
other
or something?
weens?
I don't want to
She's
know
seen?
about other weens.
Weens she's seen.
Weens.
That's a new
Weens I've
that's-
seen.
That's a new segment on the
pre-birth
show.
ween.
Weens I've seen, and LeeAnn just talks about other dudes.
Right? A pre-Bert ween. This
Yeah.
one guy, he had one that was this big, right?
I just love when you keep telling her stuff you've done with Tom, and she's like, "What?"
I didn't know. I thought you knew all that.
I don't watch anything you do. Here's the thing. You do so much. I would
do
have
do a
no
lot.
life.
You
If
do do a
I
lot.
listen to every Bertcast, listen to
Yeah.
every Two Bears, I would do nothing else. I
Yeah.
would be a little obsessive and it would kind of gross me out.
Right.
I'm your wife.
It probably is for the best that you just let him do
It
his
is.
thing. But
Sometimes
that's how it works. She's always let you do your thing.
Yeah.
She holds down the fort. You guys do your thing together.
Yeah.
I do
Yes.
my thing when he's not here.
Yeah.
That's kind of
You've gotten used to him being gone a lot,
That's all I know, really.
right?
I mean, Georgia was 3 days old when he started touring.
yeah.
So I don't really know anything different. I have to say, though, I expected some serious meltdowns in the pandemic,
Yeah.
and we really didn't have any.
Right.
And still, when we go away, like when I go on the road with him and
Mhm.
the girls are home, I am like expecting to be like, well, that doesn't really work anymore. And that doesn't happen. We really, or it doesn't for me. I can't speak for you. That I enjoy being with you when we're not here. Yeah. And I really enjoyed you being here during the pandemic. And I thought, we've been together for 19 years and he's traveled 17 of those. Mm-hmm. So I thought in the pandemic, I was like, this is going to be a fucking shit show. Yeah. We are going to fight constantly because we are different. And I'm used to running the whole show at home. Mm-hmm. And for me to be able to go, okay, I no longer run this portion. Mm-hmm. I thought would be a lot harder than it was.
And it was, y'all had a good time.
We had a great time during the pandemic.
Yeah, I think we did.
That's great. This year's kind of broken me a little bit, though.
This year's what?
Broken me a little bit.
Why you think
I've been gone so much that I'm not really comfortable here.
What? Really?
Yeah, I was telling someone the other day, I don't have anywhere to sit, really. Like, I just got a place to sit.
In the new house?
Yeah, like when you go to your house, you've been there for a while, so you have your seat.
Right. It's moving. We hadn't moved in 10 years.
Right.
And he's never moved. Yeah. Like, I've always moved and he comes back and I'm like, ta-da! Right. So he doesn't have a lot of input in, like, I'm not that I wouldn't move something or change something, but it would be weird to be like, to just show up and then here's your new house. And
so you're not really comfortable here yet.
And we showed up here and he'd been in Serbia for 4 months. Oh, he was here for 1 minute. And then he had surgery on his elbow.
So it's just it hasn't been lived in.
It hasn't. Yeah, right.
Like, you know how when you go to,
what are you doing?
I'm looking at my hand. You know how when you go to your house and you just, I can only say it in our old house. In our old house, I had a recliner that I'd go and sit and look at my emails, and
that was your spot.
That was my spot. Or I'd go to the man cave and do some work, or I could sit on the couch in the man cave. Yeah. I could sit at my desk in the man cave, or I could go to the recliner. Yeah. And like, I had all these spots to sit. And then here I just, this is what broke me is I was in Serbia.
We do. It's in the bedroom. Oh, we moved it in the master
It's like
bedroom.
All of a sudden now you're just sitting in a room by yourself.
Right.
So
we can put it back in the living room.
I was in Serbia for 3 months, and that was the longest I think I've been away from my family in one stretch. And then I was home for
3 weeks.
3 weeks, but I had surgery within those 3 weeks. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I was super uncomfortable.
Yeah. And he had to be isolated because we have these big dogs. So he had surgery, so he couldn't be in the house for a week. Right. Because they just jump on him. Yeah. And he's got like lots of stitches. Right. And I was like, you're just gonna be in this other room. I can't deal with it.
And then I went to Macon to do another show. Mm-hmm. And then I went on tour. And yesterday I was like, I wish I hadn't come home. Just because I was like, I'm not comfortable here. Mm-hmm. I'm more comfortable on my bus. I'm more comfortable in a hotel. Oh. Like it kind of stinks. It kind of stinks. And I hope that it changes. But it's also like
you got to change your mentality around it, though. Because in your head, you're probably going, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to go. You got to.
I don't get excited.
Yeah. You miss the old place?
I miss the old place a little bit. I mean, I like this place.
Dan doesn't.
Nope.
No. This is a nice place.
Thank you.
This place is beautiful. I love it. But the old place was just, I don't know. Like it was like everyone was happy when I came home to the old place. Like, because everybody was young. Yeah. Like, I'd come home and everyone run out in the front yard.
Yeah.
That was like 8 years ago.
I know.
I mean, like, that hadn't happened in a long time. I love you, baby. But that was a long time ago.
It's like, why isn't anyone running outside for me?
I mean, George would be,
God dang.
LeeAnn would be changing diapers when I pulled up.
They're teenagers.
They're teenagers.
They don't care about anything.
Yeah, if you want a reason not to have kids, go hang out with our teenagers for a
I've heard teenagers are tough.
Fucking nightmare.
Then they start to hate you for no reason.
Oh, you're going to make him cry now.
Oh, no. Bert, no.
I fucking love Athletic Greens. I had a bottle here for a while that it's my favorite way to know on the road if I wake up late and I'm hungry and I look in my fridge and I go, oh, so many bad options. I need something that's going to give me all my nutrients and like a superfood, a whole sourced superfood. I get 1 scoop of delicious Athletic Greens, and I know I'm absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. I'm burping up my Athletic Greens right now. We did a podcast this morning, and I went in and I crammed in Athletic Greens because I know it's the best way to help start my day off right. This special blend of ingredients supports gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your recovery, your focus, your aging, All things. I love it. It's sitting right by our coffee maker. And my favorite thing, one scoop, boom. I'm telling you, it's lifestyle friendly with whether you're eating keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial flavors or anything. And it still tastes fucking awesome. You get better sleep quality, recovery, sports mental clarity, alertness. And I'm telling you what I love about Athletic Greens. It was created when the founder experienced a ton of gut health issues, which I deal with nonstop. And they ended up on a complicated supplement routine to recover it. And it cost him $100 a day. And then he thought, fuck that. And boom, he created Athletic Greens after experiencing just how difficult it was to create an optimal nutritional routine on his own. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu season and cold season this year. Just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills, supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of the immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Bert. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Bert to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Oh, I hit a nerve.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
we may be going through something at this exact moment.
It's tough. I remember being, especially with girls. Girls have a lot of, this is like the time. There's a lot of hormones and you're just bitchy. You're just bitchy. And you don't even really, you can't even help yourself almost. Like girls get mean around this time.
Would you say that accurately describes what's happening with one of your daughters?
Oh,
yeah.
That's tough.
But did you do that?
Yeah, we all you'd all get bitchy, mainly with your family, not really your, not like you wouldn't never behave that way with friends and stuff. I mean, you
or
get
even friends' parents.
Well, you get angsty with friends for sure, but it definitely gets released to your family, parents, your parents in particular. But yeah, I mean, as nice as I am, I definitely had a bitchy phase with my family. I think it's just a teenage girl thing.
It is.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
And as hard as it is not to take it personally, it really happens to a lot of girls at this age.
I'd say almost all girls.
Yeah.
It's very rare. Like my 15-year-old decided to try veganism. I was like, okay, that's good. But she's not really doing it right. She's eating like 12 vegan chocolate chip cookies. And I'm like, that's not healthy. You have to actually have protein. So I'd been really worried about it because she's not eating very well, even though she's eating vegan.
Yeah.
So I, like 5:30 in the morning, was like, I'm going to make her like black beans and rice. That's great. Vegan meal, black beans and rice. So I did. I got up at like 6, made her this, went upstairs, knocked on her door, made sure she was up. And I was like, hey, just so you know, I made you some black beans and rice for your lunch. And she goes, don't ever do that again. And I went,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, I was trying to be supportive.
It hurts my heart for parents.
But I mean, she literally looked at me like I just said, I have just rubbed horse shit from head to toe all over your body.
Yeah.
And she said, don't ever, she didn't say, she said, don't ever do that again. And I was like, oh, wow. You're a teenager. Yeah. That's not me.
Yeah.
I could tell it bums you out.
Oh, it bums me out.
It breaks his heart.
Yeah.
It doesn't just bum his
I'm
heart.
not,
it breaks his heart.
Like, I'm not doing anything.
Well, the
I
hard
know
part.
that. Yeah. It's like, it's so hard to explain. It's just such a teenage girl thing. And I don't know what it is. You're like, your body's changing. Your hormones are
I remember when they stopped.
Wild.
They stopped giving me love. I remember when they there's a huge period in a child's life where you're like, hey, come on, get in the bed with me. Let's cuddle. And everyone jumps in the bed. And then I remember the day where I was like, hey, come over here and sit on the couch with me. And they're like, no. And I was like, ugh.
He's a sweet, soft, sensitive guy.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing about it is, I think this is particularly hard for Bert.
Right.
Is when I was working back when we were talking about we were broke.
Yeah.
If he was home, the nanny wouldn't necessarily come, so we saved that money.
Right.
So he would walk to Trader Joe's, get stuff for dinner, take him to ballet class. He was such an involved, and they adored him.
They used to love me.
Well, that's
They
probably
still do.
That's got to be the hardest thing for the dads. Yeah, like if they're like daddy's girls, and then all of a sudden they're being bitchy towards you for no reason. It crushes you because you're just like, oh, I didn't do anything. Like, why do they hate me all of a sudden? You feel like you've done something wrong.
And you're just sitting there going like,
yeah.
So then you go, well, I'm gonna just stay on the road next week. Like I've already decided to I'm not gonna.
You don't want to deal with it.
I'm not gonna come. I'm definitely not coming home next week.
What doesn't make you feel good?
No, it doesn't make him feel good.
It ruins.
Moms get a brunt of it too in a different way. They're just like mean to their moms.
They adore LeeAnn. They come and snuggle with her.
That's not entirely true. One of them lies to me constantly and thinks that I'm just an idiot, and the other one says, "Don't ever do that again when I do something nice."
You probably feel like you're getting more of it, but like you're getting it in different ways.
Well, I was saying to him, he feels it because he's home for this little bitty time.
He just wants it to be loved
and wants to be loved, and instead he's met with a typical, I think, a pretty typical teenage girl, which I live with every day.
Yeah.
So then for me, I'm like, this is freaking normal.
Yeah.
Not because it's okay or acceptable, but because I also was a teenage girl at one
so
point.
we kind of know where it comes from.
I know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, teenage girls, like, in psychological testing, test as psychotic. Because their brain, no joke, they test as psychotic.
Oh, wow.
That is scientific. That is for real because their brain is shedding like whatever they shed, like they do when they're a toddler, and they literally test as psychotic. Wow. So you can't really act like you're relating to a fully present normal person because their brain is physically, biologically psychotic.
Here's the good news. Biology gets better.
It does.
A lot better.
Yes.
And then when girls get older, they're way better than boys.
Oh, yeah?
Because girls take care of their parents. Boys, when a lot of boys tend to go more with the wife's family. So the girls stay closer to their own parents and do for their parents and take care of their parents. So you'll be set when you get older.
Gotta give her a few years.
But But the high school years are tough with girls.
I agree.
She used to be the sweetest human being.
She is still sweet. It's in
she
there.
like she was just so like you were like I could tell you stories about her.
Yeah.
Where you'd go, whoa, that's like a fucking superhuman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just shifted and you're like, what am I doing?
Tom Papa has a very funny stand-up joke he just posted recently.
Really?
About having a mean girl.
Hey, can you find it?
He goes, my daughter's mean. I raised her. I fed her. I give her money. She's mean. It's very funny.
I made great bread. What could you ask for?
I mean, and his daughter is so sweet.
How
She's in college now. So it was that teenage
mean girl.
High school
Click
thing.
it. Let's see it.
Yeah.
My family's a mess.
Is this making you feel better?
I have a mean girl. Yeah, I made a mean girl. I didn't know they existed. I didn't think I was going to make one. I feel guilty, I'm feeding it. I'm keeping it alive. I give it money. What do I do? Just cut her off like she's a terrorist? I can't do that. She's my kid. How do I even know how bad she really is? She's my kid. I'm sure at some point Hitler's parents must have turned to each other like, he's a little weird, right? Yeah, he's weird. He's 6. Who has that mustache? It's 6.
He is so good.
You're not alone. He has 2 girls.
Right.
So I think it's unfortunately the
as much as he's heard stories, his sister, oh my God, Bert's sister was like stole their car, was smoking cigarettes on the roof of their house. Yeah. Dad took her to Villanova, which is his alma mater, to tour, and she herself says, I was the biggest asshole to my dad directly. I was just short of walking around flipping him off all day.
Oh, man.
And that's who I was because she's a teenage girl.
Yeah. My mom has stories about me back in the day just being a dick for no reason.
I don't see that from you at all.
I just lied.
I think it's just, it's not like I was a dick to the world.
Just
Again,
to her,
it was really just your parents, your family.
That's crazy.
My brothers would be like, "She's such a bitch,"
right?
Because you're just bitchy,
and you don't know why.
You're short with people, and Like, but mostly at home, you go out into the world and be lovely and
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what they say. They say they keep it together out in the world, and then it falls apart.
Yeah, because you're just like, you finally come home and just all the angst is like relinquished.
If my
But
mouth was moving, I was lying.
But your parents took the brunt of it.
Worst.
God, I remember my favorite Tom Papa story. We ran into Tom Papa at California Pizza Kitchen one time. He was with his family. I was with my family. And he came over and he said hi and he talked to, I said something. And he went back to the table and Isla goes, "Who's that guy?" There's Tom Papa. She said, "What's he do?" I said, "He's a comedian." And she goes, "He looks like a cop."
Like a detective.
Well, I guess then that's the end of my stand-up career talking about my kids.
Well,
Why?
now
They're dead to me.
Now we'll just
They're dead to me.
shift. You'll just talk about how they're mean. You'll find your mean girl material.
So
Jesus.
how canto may be genetic.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or
Let me tell you. I'm throwing up in my mouth nonstop.
Or it'll just keep you on the road and you'll keep
I'm staying on the road.
content
I've already
in
decided.
that way.
Yeah.
I've already decided I'm gonna go to Austin next week and do podcasts. Get those out of the way so I don't have them over my head.
Yeah.
I'll be a lot happier doing podcasts than coming home.
Well, that makes me feel like crap because I also live here.
That's true.
So
LeeAnn
you
is-
you
Well,
you say, "Oh, I don't want to come
you
home."
So
need
don't
to-
punish
You need to
your
get a
wife.
podcast in Austin.
Exactly.
You need to get a podcast in Austin.
I don't want to. I have no interest in
Well,
going to.
get some
luckily I have a
nipple
podcast
clamps.
in Austin.
Get some nipple clamps and some
Something.
butt plugs and go join them.
I need a little battery charger.
Two
or
bears,
something.
one cave, and LeeAnn with a butt plug.
Yeah, you and Push need to do some sex stuff. You know what she wouldn't let us do? There was a porn star, Adriana Chechik, who wanted Tom and I to run a train on her. And
Gee, what a mystery.
I wonder why.
Why I said no to that.
but we were going to use
Christina.
we were gonna
Christina said yes.
almost.
Almost.
If LeeAnn had said yes, Christina would have said yes. We were going to just use strap-ons.
such
we
a
were gonna use
Debbie
strap-ons
Downer.
and not use our real dicks.
No, that's so not cool.
What? And then we were going to put them backwards so they were like tails, so we couldn't see her.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I think that's too exploitive of a woman. I don't care if she is
Adriana
a porn star.
asked for it. Pull up.
I
Adriana
don't care.
Chechik.
I don't care. I
She
can't.
she asked
I
us.
don't
She
give a
is begging
shit. I
us.
can't sign off on that. So are we really looking at this one?
No.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah. Let's see what
Bert, no, yeah. I mean, let's just take a peek.
Are you doing hey, Tom Papa and I posted the same pictures on our Instagram.
You did?
It's
Yeah.
so crazy.
She's beautiful.
She's
Yeah.
gorgeous, yeah.
Well, I think it's probably for the best you didn't do a train.
I mean,
Yeah, it's awful.
You know,
probably bad for our careers. If we
And
run a
at
train
some
on a
point,
porn
your
star.
children are going to
If
find
only
this
you
stuff.
guys had found fame
Well, if
Right.
20
yeah,
years ago.
She's
it-
beautiful.
yeah.
So who's somebody that you want to work with that you haven't yet?
Ooh, good question.
Oh,
You talking to me or?
are we still
care
talking
about
about
you.
trains?
Wait, maybe we'll start doing this podcast where LeeAnn runs the interview and I answer with the.
Or you're interviewing me? Perfect.
Who is someone you want to work with?
Man, I would really love to do a movie with Will Ferrell. I would love to work with
Yeah.
someone like, I love Kristen Wiig. I'd always want to do a movie with her. Like I got to do Barb and Star. I have a very small part, but I would love to do another thing with her where it's like I get to do more stuff. Melissa McCarthy, like the really big silly comedians. I would love to get to do
That's awesome.
stuff with them.
What's
Yeah.
the hardest part you think about your journey? What's been the hardest part?
I mean, it took a long time for people to get on board in the industry with me.
Oh, in the industry.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've always connected with audiences. Once I finally got a job, which was Chelsea, audiences seemed to connect pretty quickly. Like, oh, we like her. Like, the industry keeps thinking that everybody's got to be a supermodel.
Mm.
Everyone's got to
So
be skinny
stupid.
and look a certain way. That's who they want to keep hiring. And I'm like, the audience wants somebody that they can relate to.
100%.
And
Agree.
so the industry has been late to that game. So it took a while for the industry to get on board with me. For many years, they didn't know what to do with me.
Did you feel like Comedy Central was just looking right past you?
I felt like a lot of people were looking right past me. I was getting
Really?
opportunities. I was to audition and stuff, and then getting the no's and things. It took Chelsea. Kind of was known for putting people on TV that nobody else was putting on.
Who was on that list? It was you, Jo Koy, the guy that wore the white T-shirt and the hat. I forget his name.
white t-shirt. Josh Wolf?
No, Josh Wolf.
Yeah, Heather
No, I know his
McDonald,
name.
Chris Frangiola,
Ross.
Brad Wallach, Ross, Lonnie Love.
I thought there was another. I thought there was a dude. The dude that hates Joey Diaz.
Oh, who?
Joey spit in his
don't know.
face.
What?
I don't remember
Well,
his name.
I hate Joey Diaz too.
remember
He's
his
spit in
name.
my face.
I don't know this story.
Yeah, I
the
don't know
white
his name.
hat. Well, there was a lot of comics that came
Really?
through that show, but yeah. So it's like it's good that the finally the industry seems to be paying a little bit more attention lately. I'm getting some bigger opportunities than I'd had before, but yeah, just getting all the no's. I got so many no's. I still get a lot of no's. That's the toughest part. You never quite get used to that, but
I was always more comfortable with the no's than the yeses.
oh yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
I
got
like
so
it.
many-
Yes.
Yeses are pretty awesome, right?
But yeah, but the no's were so readily available that once
Yeah.
you get a couple yeses, you're like, oh fuck, now I got to do it.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
the biggest thing I'm the hump I'm trying to get over now is I've written a lot of movies. I've written things for myself. Is getting somebody to greenlight it.
Interesting.
It's like just getting them to know, like to trust me to carry a movie
Mm-hmm.
with other people, of course,
Yeah.
not just myself.
Sure.
But that's the biggest thing is like I've shown you I can be a funny 2-minute part of this movie, 10-minute part of this movie. Let me carry part of that load in the
Would
movie.
be cool.
So
What do you
that's
think it'll
my
take?
big goal.
What do you think it'll take for somebody to do that? Meeting the right person, or
I mean, the business wants you, it's like with every like big step you take, you go, am I famous enough now? Am I
Right.
big enough now? And they go, no. You're like, come on.
Yeah.
It's just getting that, them to sign off on you. They're
Right.
always, all the studios, all the places are all about like, who moves the needle? And you're just like, when do I move the needle? So you're just always kind of climbing to try to get that next thing of like, do I move the needle now? I'm selling out all these shows.
yeah.
These people seem to like me. I'm doing good here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting all the puzzle pieces to come together. It takes a while.
I think the problem too
Fortune's
is
tour dates.
I think the problem too is there used to be a lot more needles, right? There used to be like cute romantic comedies and
Right.
silly like buddy comedies and Marvel movies and serious dramas and independent films. And I feel like now it's either a Marvel movie or a guaranteed
Yeah.
star-studded full of everybody you already know kind of movie. And there's no place in Hollywood. No one has, or I don't see the movies come out where it's someone who just carves their own path
Right.
and does really great. And it's not
Yeah.
that same freaking
we have
needle.
We have definitely.
Well, they're not
different-
making
Keep scrolling.
comedies.
They're
we have
not.
such different.
I know.
tour dates.
Isla and I were looking for a comedy to watch the other day, and I'm like, "There's nothing new."
And people want comedies.
They do. They seem to be watching a lot of stand up. So
Yeah.
why would it would stand to reason?
You have a lot of shows in the South.
Yeah, we've sold out. We added a 4th show in Georgia,
Yeah, you did
In Atlanta?
2 in Nashville.
2 in Nashville. We've
Revolution
already we have
Hall's-
4 in Portland.
Added, yeah. Jesus,
We got 2 at the Paramount in Denver. They've been selling well. I mean,
that's great.
I'm not doing giant places like y'all, but it's
No,
like
no, no,
2,000.
no. This is
It's amazing.
1,000
theaters.
to
These are
2,000
theaters I do.
theaters. Yeah.
These are definitely theaters I do.
I think
So,
you're doing fantastic.
You're doing amazing.
We got 3 in DC,
That's
What are
awesome.
What are you doing in DC?
2 in San Diego.
Lincoln Theater, nice.
We did the 2 Lincoln theaters and added
Royal
one
Oak
across-
Music Hall,
Yeah.
Music Theater. I think I'm still doing that.
So it's been
Joy
cool.
Theater is one of my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah, in New Orleans.
this will be my first time, but it's been great. We did
Does it
3
feel good?
Boston shows and 2 Dallas shows.
Do you feel a validation when you put tour dates online and they start adding shows? And you're
Yeah.
like 4 in Portland.
It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing. Honestly, it's like, I've been plugging away at these clubs for the last decade, just trying to build an audience. And, I'm so lucky that the Netflix special did well. And we put these dates up and people started buying tickets. It was like, it blew me away. I mean, they had me in a 2,000 seat theater in Cincinnati 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to fill that. And it
Yeah.
sold out, It's like the Dallas show was like a 1,700 seat theater and they added the second one. It was like this for me, it's like a huge,
That's-
it's a huge.
It is huge.
Fortunately,
You know?
there is a very small percentage of people, comics in this business, that can move 4,000 tickets in Dallas. That's a very, very small percentage who can move. I think what you're doing in Portland will be like fucking 6,000 tickets.
Probably like 4.
Yeah, but you, I mean, it is disarming because you remember the days when you were like, well, fuck, I just want to sell out my late show in Brea.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you go, wow, I've added how many?
Yeah.
And
I'm
you're
doing
like,
Brea.
wow.
I'm still doing Brea.
Still doing Brea's a fucking big room.
That's
though.
a cool
Yeah,
room,
it's a
though.
big room, and you can
Yeah,
get a
it
big
is.
payday for a weekend there.
I mean, it's just the goal for me was always to just get to theaters. That was always the hope.
You
I'm
did
a
it.
storyteller. Theaters are really good for someone like me. I take my time. I'm not doing punchlines every 2 seconds. So I wanted a space to be able to just tell stories, and the theater's like incredible for that. So I mean, to me, I'm just like, I'm like, I made it. I
Yeah.
feel like I made it
Yeah.
just because I'm getting to do, any theater was what I wanted to do. So I'm so grateful that people are showing up.
You did make it. I mean, that there's a short list of people that get to where you are. I mean, movies, fucking theaters, Netflix special. Just the idea of how hard it is to get a Netflix special these
Yeah.
days is astronomical.
Yeah.
And there's,
Yeah. And it's like, to answer your kind of come back to what you asked me earlier, it's like, I don't look like the person that you would think's on TV. I have this big hair and this big body and this crazy accent. You feel like you had to defy a lot of odds,
Mhm.
to get in this position. I've had people come up to me before. They were like, I heard you're on TV, and they were talking to my wife. They were pointing, and I go, and she goes, it's her. And the person looked at me like, it's you. And that sort of summed up, what, like, I don't look like the person that would, when we were growing up, that you would think, oh, that person is on TV. And so to defy that odds, being that fat, chubby, awkward girl from that small town in the South, to now get into, like, people are coming to hear me talk for an hour. That's insane.
Mhm.
It's insane. But I'm just like, yeah, the gratitude is mainly what you feel when you get that opportunity.
Do you
Well, it's
think
where you're
there's-
meant to be, clearly.
Do you think there's any part of that little girl that when you were a little girl that would believe where you are
God,
today?
no, never in a million years. Because I'm a little shyer than people realize.
Really?
I can be pretty shy.
Mm.
So
I'm pretty shy too.
yeah,
Shit.
you don't
You
seem
are
to have
never
a shy, bone in
shy.
your body.
No.
But I am shy. Like I get shy, So I had to train myself to, like, kind of come out of my shell and put myself out there in that way. And so, yeah, I would never ever have envisioned this for myself.
How cool would it be if you could go into a time machine, go to that cotillion, and stand up and go to that debutante ball and go, one of you in here will be in movies, and watch all these girls go, woo!
And they would not be looking at me for sure.
I have a
But-
question. So, did you grow, because being from the South,
Mm-hmm.
full of storytellers, did you have a storyteller in your life? Like, my grandfather could tell a story like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Did you have one? Why did you become a storyteller and not a joke writer? Like, not that your story is not full of jokes,
Mm-hmm.
but set up punch
Yeah.
like that.
I think I was surrounded by storytellers. I have a very funny family. Like everyone in my family was very animated around each other. They were always, telling jokes and stories. And I had uncles that were very, out there, and like people. There were a lot of characters.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you see that a lot in the South, where you
Mhm.
go,
Yeah.
that guy's a character,
Mm-hmm.
but he's real. This person's real. But if you tried to write that as a person, they'd be like, that's too wacky.
Mm-hmm.
That person doesn't exist. I was surrounded by people like that. So I think just being around, like, colorful people who had wild personalities, but they were just them. They were just themselves. You just sort of pick up that. And so I think it was just part of my upbringing,
Mm-hmm.
seeing people be so comfortable with themselves, being different, telling stories. It
Mhm.
just you sort of pick it up.
Every event was a story. They never gave you a play-by-play. They had a beginning, a middle, and end, and it all kind of flows around good words and funny stuff.
I would have been considered boring in comparison to a lot of the wild people around me.
Right.
That I was growing up with.
I think the same for me. I would have. I don't know. I think the authentic personality I had in, say, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. I think it started I think it started disappearing in fifth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I know by the time I got to ninth grade, it was like, oh, you got to hide a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't and just or at least assimilate.
Oh, the yard guy's here.
Must be. I didn't. Oh, that's random.
Liquid death.
Liquid death.
They're so fucking good. I can drink them all day
It's
long.
I still can't believe it's water. Liquid death.
I've given it to people who think they're breaking their sobriety. They're like, oh, I can't.
Well, it feels like it would be an energy drink. Murder your thirst.
Murder. Did you grow up reading? Were you a big reader?
No, my mom and my grandmother were huge readers. My mom could read like a book in 2 days. Same with my grandmother. They like consume books. I think I have a little bit of ADD. I'm not diagnosed or anything, but I have a hard time paying attention.
I have a hard time paying attention. I have dyslexic too. I remember one time I took Ritalin in college and I could read.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm interested and I'm retaining the information. I was like, this is amazing. Is this what regular people feel like?
I read a lot of I haven't been watching the news as much just because it's so depressing and it's so bonkers and but I do consume a lot of articles. If I like am flipping and they'll be like, oh, an article, it could be politics, it could be an actor, it could be a thing about a town. I consume a lot of information, but it has to be in like article form.
Got it.
I don't like to I have a hard time sitting down with a whole book.
Right. Small content.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm podcast guy.
But I have like lots of information about the most random stuff because I consume.
That's because you're interested and curious.
Yeah. I like learning about people, things. Yeah.
Hey, did you ever get that joke, that gay joke, the joke about Googling gay stuff to do? Did you ever get that into your act?
Oh, the one we talked about last time I was here?
loved that joke.
We were talking about, I'm gay, now what?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. And you're like, and so I started going through the paper looking for gay activities. Hey, this African drum circle looks good.
I think I did have it. I think I taped it, but it ended up getting cut.
Yeah.
Because it just wasn't.
It's sometimes it's like the jokes. The fuck is he
right?
doing?
I don't know. I think he's throwing the furniture.
The jokes that make us laugh,
Yeah.
I think, are sometimes are maybe sometimes too aggressive for audience members, where they're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like I had a joke about blowjobs. I was like, how long should you let a mouth rest after giving a blowjob before you kiss it? And we all laughed, and then I did it on stage, and this woman in the front row was like, ugh. And I was like, oh. I was like, is that not good? She's like, well, no. It sounds like you think we're pieces of meat.
Oh, like they're
and I was
just
like,
a mouth?
Yeah,
Right.
like.
We're more than a mouth, Bert.
We're also a butthole. You can put the
Yeah.
plug in it if you're really nice.
Wow, you're really throwing some LeeAnn into this one.
Is that right?
LeeAnn.
Well, we've been doing a podcast for about 2 hours, right, Holston?
Have we really?
We should probably
Yeah,
let
we
you
should
go.
Let you go.
I'm going to go do my radio show now.
Really?
It's Tom's birthday tomorrow, so we're doing like a little special
Fun.
thing for his birthday at
I
a
gotta get
pizza
Tom back
place.
I gotta
Oh,
get Tom
fun.
back on the podcast.
Yeah.
He's such a sweet, nice human being.
You should have him back on the podcast because I think that it would be helpful for you to talk about your daughters.
Thank
Don't
you,
you
Ray.
I
think?
wish I could get
I
him in.
do. And I thank you very much for sharing that because it's been a rough day or two.
Yeah,
with him,
I can
with
see it in
her.
Bert's face.
And he's telling me all these like catastrophic, major dark things. And I said, the problem is, I don't think you'll hear me, but I think what you're feeling is right. And I think she's just a regular
Right.
teenage girl.
Yeah.
It's both
And
things,
he's
yeah.
just like, no.
Yeah.
I think she is just being a regular teenage
Yeah.
girl. She's not doing anything super crazy.
But I think it would be helpful for you to have talked to another.
I think that's a great
another
idea.
guy that's got 2 daughters who's
A little ahead of you.
A little ahead of you, been through it.
Yeah.
You might I don't know that it'll make you feel better per se. It'll still bum you out, but it'll give you some perspective on it.
Perspective,
I'm
and you
gonna
won't
reach out
feel
to
so
Tom.
alone. You just won't feel like you're the only person.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll come home next week.
There you go. Don't punish LeeAnn.
I'm not punishing
I know.
her.
He's like, I'm just not coming home. And I was like, wait. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
I'm actually awesome.
And her mouth's rested.
I will not.
That's a perfect way to end the podcast.
That was so
That's
funny.
a perfect way. Hey, what do you have to plug? Just your tour dates?
Yeah.
Let's go through them real quick, Austin. Let me see
I'm
them
on
one more time.
tour so many places.
Scroll. Let's look at
I don't know when this is coming out. So
we got the December Improv.
Augusta, Georgia, Atlanta, Brea.
Augusta, Georgia, Miller Theater.
But I'm doing a ton of stuff starting in January. Indianapolis, Louisville.
Those are the tickets you got to move. These are already sold out, guys.
Oh, Chicago's already sold out.
Wow.
DC, there's only the one show left. Richmond, San Diego,
A bunch of
San
shows.
Antonio, and Houston. I need to move those.
Yeah.
So if you live in Texas, New Orleans, I'm coming everywhere.
You are
St.
all
Louis,
over.
Kansas City, Des Moines, Asheville, Charlotte, Durham, Charleston, Seattle. I'm just saying them all. Portland.
Well, right
yeah.
now, someone's listening going, wait, she's coming to
all
our
over
town.
Michigan.
Christmas is coming. People buy tickets for Christmas.
Going
So
Grand Rapids and Detroit,
Ooh,
or Royal
good
Oak.
Christmas present.
San Fran. I'm going everywhere. Milwaukee, Madison, Green Bay. Come
easy to
on.
find. Easy to find.
FortuneFeimster.com. And I do try to tell jokes that are relatable to everybody. It ain't just a big old lesbo show. Even though I'm wearing flannel. There are a lot more dudes showing up to my shows. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's
You're
great.
Fortune, you're just a good person with positive energy
I
and a
agree.
good
Aw.
aura.
Thank
and
you.
it's so endearing and so relatable.
Oh, I appreciate it.
that's-
I just know all I know how to do is be myself, you know?
Exactly. And that is clear.
Well,
Crystal clear.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm the same way, but still my daughter fucking hates me. Like what? Jesus Christ.
It'll get better. It'll get better.
Yeah, well,
It
I'm
will
very
get
happy
better.
for your success.
I'm
really
happy
am.
for yours too.
It's fun watching people kill it that you feel like you go, yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I've worked hard. We've all worked hard. Comics hustle
Big
like
time.
crazy. So if any of us get success, it's so cool.
Right.
But some people you want to see it get more than others.
Some people, there are certain people in our business where you go where it's undeniable when they get success, everyone gets excited for them.
Yeah, because you just want to see people, good people get good things. So
Yeah.
you and Tom are killing it with your butt plugs.
Cock tethers.
Yeah, it's I'm just trying to do my thing, make people feel good. Like you just want to make people feel good.
I just want at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I want you to feel better after my show than you
Exactly.
did when you came in.
That's what I want too. You just want to make people happy.
If I can at all get you to wake up the next morning and giggle thinking of something I said the night before,
it's perfect.
that's it.
Mission
That's all my
accomplished.
mission
I
accomplished.
feel the same way.
Well, I absolutely love you, Fortune.
I love you too,
I'm so
bud.
glad you came to do this, and I'm so happy.
I'm
for
so
you.
glad I got to sit down with both of you.
I know.
It's so much better with her.
I love it. LeeAnn's the best.
Aw. I was thank you for including me.
Of
I love the
course.
conversation.
I think
Thank you.
I think we have a gardener on next.
Yeah, the gardener's
Fucking
coming.
hear this?
His name's Marco. We'll let Marco come
And Bert,
Yeah.
you're a good dad.
It's a great way to end this.
in. He is a good dad.
He is.